Freaking out, man. You can't handle the truth. You can't handle the truth.
What do all men in power want? More power.
My name is luca-zanna. I was an Italian by birth, and I became an American by choice. Our lives and freedoms are in danger. This is not a dream. If you're listening to this broadcasting, you are the resistance.
All systems go.
Welcome to Love, Guns, and Freedom.
We're not afraid.
Here we go, guys. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna on KTOX 1340 AM and on United States.FM network. Another Sunday, another show. And I'm grateful. I'm telling you, I'm grateful for many things. First of all, I'm really grateful in this life. Even when things seem like, a little tough, I tell you, I don't know about you, but I had the gift. And I call it a gift. Of course, I work hard for it, but sometimes doesn't mean that's going to guarantee you anything. The gift to be here in this country. After all, I wasn't born here. I was born in Rome, Italy. But, it was always a dream for me one day to grow up and to come to America and to become an American. And that's kind of, for many people still can become a dream, stay a dream. So anyway, I'm here, I'm grateful. But more important, I'm not just grateful because I'm an American. I'm grateful because also I live in the great state of Arizona. That is not perfect, don't get me wrong. The word state complies that pretty much it's made by humans. And, humans, they're not perfect. So we always have to try to find a way to make it better. And that's why normally we try to work within the system, in the political system, that I believe it's what normally should try to organize a society. Lately, I must tell you something. I start to lose a lot of hope in all political system. And I don't want to sound extreme, but if I could choose between the federal government that we have and no government at all, I'd rather to have no government. People say, oh gosh, are you an anarchist? No, honestly, I believe in small government. I believe in the constitutional form of this republic, that what's supposed to be. As I said, if I had to decide between a cancer and maybe cut the arm, I'd rather to cut the arm. Because what we have now, it's not a government. It's a tyranny. It's a destruction of our rights. It's what they are doing in our names. This is enslavement. Think seriously, what is it doing right now, the federal government, for you in your life? How is it, let's say, improving your life, your freedoms? Nothing. It's an harassment. Since 1913, we are pretty much under the mafia that at the end of the year, you must give them whatever half or whatever you make, a good part, a good chunk, because the Federal Private Reserve say so, because they create money out of thin air. And of course, we must pay the interest with our labor, something we didn't have before. Of course, now we have unlimited, unconstitutional, endless wars around the world in our names, destroying country and rebuilding them with our tax dollar. Then we have a man acting as the president. He acts more like a Hitler, going around, giving away billions of dollars to other countries, how it feels like. Look at what happened with Obama in Iran, the 400 millions and then billions, this is insane. All in our names. Every one of us now, every newborn, I don't know how many thousands of dollars of debt. We have more than $20 trillion of debt. We have politicians that are not much different from little lords and kings, just because they know how to rig the system and get reelected every year. This is not a republic anymore. We are living now in an oligarchy. That's the reality. But now let's go back to the latest primaries in Arizona. First of all, I'm very thankful that it's over. It's good. I think it's always good to be involved, engaged, no matter what. As I said, I have not much hope in the federal government, what's happening in Washington. Only an act of God and a miracle can change it. Meanwhile, I still believe we have the duty, of course, to be engaged in our political system here, in our district, in our state, and more important, in our counties. So, whoever are the winners, I say, good for you. Even if I disagree with you, good for you, because at the end of the day, the voters, that's what they want. And I respect the decision of the voters. At the same time, I want to say even bigger thank you for all the new blood out there, all the new challengers, all the new underdogs. Is that the right word in English? Probably not. I'm just making it up. Whatever. The new challengers, the new people that they wanted to somehow create an alternative to the establishment. I say thank you even more, even if you lost these elections. This is just the battle. The war is not over yet. So I want to say, Mojave County, we had these elections. We have, for example, for county supervisors, all the, nothing really changed. Supervisor Watson, District 1, is still there. And, I have the biggest disappointment for him. I mean, I really don't like the man. I remember when he made the arrest, my old friend Jim Canelos, bless his soul, is dead now, just because he was wearing an American cap with an American colors in his front of his majesty. Of course, he made the county ordinance that you cannot wear, first of all, a hat in front of their majesty supervisors, and of course, you cannot wear a flag. I mean, even Mussolini used to do this crap, you bastard. But anyway, Supervisor Watson, that's what the people of District 1 want. They want a little, want to be a tyrant like you. That's fine. Respect that. But anyway, congratulations for Mr. Jolly to try to at least challenge Mr. Watson. So Supervisor Watson is still there. Then we have, of course, Supervisor Jim Bishop, the most taxpayer-unfriendly supervisor that I ever heard. I think she should run for Democrat, in my opinion, because she's such a socialist when it comes down to spending our tax dollar. But guess what? The district here somehow voted for her. Okay, guys, I think you love the free cable TV or whatever, $30 billion more, 30 more million of tax dollar to put together the new county, what is not the county jail, the new county, what is that freaking building that she wants to build with $30 million? The county, whatever, it's a county building. I'm sorry, my brain is fuming today. Anyway, that's fine. What the people want, that's what you get. Same story, of course, with, first of all, Supervisor Moss, I like him, I must tell you. Normally, I don't tell you things before, but I'm glad he got elected. He's not perfect, but I think he's really good. And I'm glad he did. That's my personal opinion after the elections. As I said, I'm not trying to influence the before the elections. I'm just trying to tell you what I think, regardless. Anyway, so that's the story for the supervisor. For city, I don't care. I don't live in the city. I don't want to spend time on that one. Thank God I don't live in Kingman or in Bullhead. I live in the boonies, so I'm happy with that. Regarding the state, we have 2 state assemblymen and 1 new state senator. The 2 new state assemblymen, or 1 is assemblywoman. Of course, we have pretty much 1 new blood. 1 is new state rep Paul Mosley, that I really don't like him. I think he's some sort of, almost, and I don't want to be mean because he's a great guy. I think he's a great family man. But when it comes down to politics, he likes to use his morals in the political system. And I heard enough. He's very judgmental about other people. I remember when he talked down to another candidate, which is a woman, that just because she has no kids, she almost made her feel guilty. Why don't you fulfill your duty as a woman? What is that, Taliban? I mean, seriously. Anyway, but whatever. He's the man that the constituent chose, and good for him. Then, of course, there is the other one, the other state assembly woman, Regina, what's her name? I try to forget today everything. But anyway, she's just still there. Doesn't matter. She was elected 2 years ago, and she's still there. She's doing the same bad job she used to do before. Now, let's go to the state senate. There were a good race, a great race between former state senator Ron Gould and, of course, between also assemblyman that we know very well, Sonny Borrelli. Sonny Borrelli made it. That's fine. And that's great. As I said, what the people want. At the end of the day, I believe we have to have a voice. And it's fine for me. At the end of the day, I don't care. I care that people at least use their brain, hopefully, and they did what they wanted to do. Now, just one thing about wannabe almost senator, almost because he's not there yet, Representative Borrelli. You should almost, call me. Because I know you called the station just the day after a Sunday that we had the broadcast. Then I talk about you and what I thought about you and the recording that was published on the Arizona Capital Times. I think you got a little bit too personal, and you talk about to the station, and you wanted to talk about pretty much if I work for the station or not. And by the way, I do not work for the station, but you got my cell phone. You can call me. And more important, you can come here on the show. As I said, I have nothing personal against you. I don't like the way you act as an elected person. I think you should have much more higher standard than us. But at that point, just call me. If you have a problem, please go ahead. I may call you today, by the way, maybe even during the show. Let's see if I can get your number. Anyway, regardless, that's the point. You want to go there? I mean, the people voted for you. They don't care about the way you are, and that's fine. The people will get what they deserve. And I hope, to be wrong, always. Now, let's go back to the federal elections, okay? Regina Cobb, sorry. Now, Regina Cobb was the name that I was trying to remember, and the lady who was running, and she won, of course, the re-election for state assemblywoman, okay? So that's my brain. Now, going back to the federal elections, we have an important, very important election for the Senate, U.S. Senate, and let's say the big challenger to McCain was former state senator Kelly Ward. And by the way, I'm not a fan. You know that. I think she's a double face. But regardless, this was about between McCain and Senator Ward. I think McCain is the biggest cancer, really, we have in our Senate. Not just for the Republican part, but in general. Is the typical example of the puppet of the military-industrial complex, of a globalist, member of the Council of Foreign Relations, a man that really, is hanging still to his head to his spouse service as a military, that, by the way, sucks. And I'm not saying that. Other veterans saying that. All you have to look at his record. When he was in the academy, it was the last of his course. I mean, he crashed at least a couple of airplanes. People died because of him. So anyway, but regardless, I don't want to even go there. The point is the politicians is the biggest fraud. And so much that on Facebook I said, somebody said, don't feed the machine. And I say, I agree. I'm never going to vote for McCain. I don't care if he's the only guy in town. I right to vote for Hitler. And that was, of course, an expression, let's say, sarcasms. But some lady, of course, a good Republican lady, said, how dare you saying that? That's not really American. And I told her, you know what? Who are you to tell me what really American is? I know I have an accent. I know I didn't go to school here, probably. I understand you got a complex that I'm a little less than you are. But don't tell me what I can tell on this board. If I want to say McCain is a piece of crap, I will say McCain is a piece of crap. If I want to say I'm going to vote for Hitler before I vote for McCain, I will. And she started to say, oh, no, because McCain, we the Americans, we don't like Hitler. First, she was so stupid. It was an expression. I was trying to say something. But regardless, my point I was trying to make that I will never be forced to kneel down because, first of all, I don't belong to any party. Number one, I burned my Republican card happily almost 3 years ago. And more important, even if I was still a Republican, I would rather to vote for a coyote in heat before I vote for McCain. But guess what? We have alternative. Thank God. And I don't say, I don't want to just waste the vote. By that point, I would rather vote for a Democrat that I despise, by the way, before I vote for McCain, just to make a point. But we have better choices. There is also the Libertarian alternative. At least when it comes down to this McCain. All the people that they were voting for Kelly Ward, you have still a chance. Maybe you can unite with some Democrats and maybe we can start to push to the Libertarian Party. Okay? Anyway, let me shut up. I talk enough. At least I give you a little bit of what's going on. But the point is, the most important point is, kings, tyrants, and politicians come and go. And our struggle for freedom is eternal. Doesn't matter when and where. It will always be something like this. So we're here, happy, at least I'm happy, enjoying this fight and giving, I can't use some words here on the air, but anyway, we will not give up, ever. Hey, Merissa Hamilton, are you there?
Yes, hello.
I hope I didn't freak you out with all this nonsense.
I don't think you could ever freak me out. I enjoy your show.
Okay, good. Anyway, no, and by the way, whatever I say on this show, I want to be sure, especially for the, let's say, opposition, McCain, or whatever, it is luca-zanna's opinion, nobody else. None of my guests, just because they're on my show, they are responsible or connected what I say. We have our own first and last name, and we have our own ideas. So don't start to mix and match because Zanna, you think I'm kind of extreme, my guest with me. This is my opinion. Merissa may have different opinions, so that's fine. Anyway, Merissa, let's talk a little bit about what's happening right now with this U.S. senatorial race. Technically, on paper,
Sure.
We have only 2 names, right?
At this point, yes, because they haven't finished hand counting the write-in ballots.
Okay, what do we need? What numbers do we need here?
I only need 3,066 write-in ballots to be from Libertarians to be on the ballot in November. And it looks based on the numbers, they're hand counting 51,000 ballots.
Okay.
So that looks pretty good for me.
Okay. What is going on here? McCain is calling, I guess. He's already mad at me. Anyway, keep continuing, please. Go ahead.
Yeah, so, and we have somewhere between 25 and 30,000 registered Libertarians. So we still have to wait to see if the registered Libertarians showed up to vote. If they did, then I'm on the ballot, and I will be Arizona's Liberty option for U.S. Senate. And I am also the only private sector person running for U.S. Senate. Both of the other candidates, Ann Kirkpatrick and McCain, are well-established politicians.
Very good. So this is great. At least you gave us a chance. And I say out there, please, don't follow the orders of your party. I hate when people say, okay, now we must unite because after all, we are better than the other side. No, don't be an idiot because you're exactly the same, if not worse. You tell me now in McCain, is there any difference in what he's doing from a Democrat? And the sad thing, you want to believe that Kool-Aid and go in front of the mirror and repeat yourself, oh yes, it's a conservative, he's a conservative. Look at what he's done. Don't look at what he says. By the way, what he says is bad enough. Don't get me wrong. So anyway, you are here, hopefully. I don't care if I have to write you in as a write-in. I say in front of God today, I will never vote for McCain, even if there is, I don't know, on the other side there is the devil. I'm not going to vote for anybody at that point, okay? So that's the point. And I hope other Republicans out there understand that this is an opportunity we have in our state of Arizona to start a peaceful revolution. Break the ranks from the Republican Party. The Central Party can go to hell. We will use our brain and our heart. That's the bottom line. We are not your slaves. S-H. That's all I can say here. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm really I get really passionate when it comes to that. I don't even want to call mad. I just let it go. Anyway, let's talk a little bit more about you. Now, what you can offer if you had to face, let's say, this challenge against McCain and against Mrs. Ann, what is their name? Kirkpatrick? I forgot. The Democrat?
Yep, Kirkpatrick.
Kirkpatrick. So why are you going to be different from those two other politicians?
Well, from my experience working in the private sector as a business professional for the last 15 years in the food service, supply chain, and technology industries, it became very apparent that there's really only one power system politically in America. They have two brands, the Democrats and Republicans, and I call them the Demopublicans, but there's one power system. So when we look at all the rights that we've lost through the years, all the times that the government completely, blatantly ignores the Constitution, and even the times that our politicians have funded or armed our enemies, like we've seen McCain do frequently, as well as the Democrats. We have lots of evidence that Hillary Clinton's done that also, and Obama. That's a huge difference between what the Libertarian Party offers. Running as a Libertarian, my party holds me accountable to principle and solving problems by finding ways to have more freedom instead of less. And so that's a huge difference from what the Demopublicans offer, because they look to solve problems based on basically giving themselves more power and then creating more problems for them to campaign on in the future.
Yes.
They make a ton of money in their campaign process off of keeping problems or not solving problems. So, for example, illegal immigration and the border. That's something that could have been solved years ago, decades ago. But they keep it as a problem because they make a ton of money campaigning off of it. Same thing with abortion. We have solutions now that can solve those challenges today also, but they keep it as a problem because both parties make tremendous amounts of money off of this issue. And so that's the difference with libertarians. Libertarians, I say, can solve any problem because we're backed by the ingenuity of the free market.
Yeah, another thing also, first of all, McCain and also the other side, they really say out loud, they don't want to solve the illegal immigration problem. They are for complete amnesty, and so much that McCain, he goes out there to the La Raza, the most racist group called The Race. For the race, everything. For outside the race, nothing. That's what they say. And he goes there, he gives speeches. So it's not like, oh, my God, He's not even faking it. Yeah, once in a while he goes out, they say this BS about, oh, we're going to build a damn fence or whatever. That's just BS. Nobody believes that stuff. But my point is, McCain, you are a fraud. Only a blind person on drugs maybe can believe half of what you say. That's the reality. And for all the Republicans out there now, I feel pity for you. You're going to vote back for him after you being somehow sane, at least admitting it, after how many years? All these years finally waking up, not because Ward was better, but at least on paper for the average person that has no clue, he has a little better chance than McCain to make sense. No. Now you're going to vote now for McCain. I feel sorry for you. You have a little bit of dignity. I think you do. And I really don't vote at all, seriously. But if you want to vote for McCain, what can I say? That's your choice. All I can give you here, at least an alternative. And it's not even anymore about the Libertarian Party. I think it's at least some different, fresh blood, a different person that is not a professional politician, that at least on some basics, I know what you say, and of course we need to see you in action, but I know the Libertarian Party has some fundamentals. The Bill of Rights is the first fundamental that normally in every Libertarian platform comes first. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, we actually start with the Declaration of Independence with the statement that we have inalienable rights. And then we go to the Bill of Rights, because the Bill of Rights then helps to define specific rights, just in case the government got confused as to what inalienable rights mean.
Yeah. I mean, for example, the Patriot Act, okay, that is the structure, the first really good dagger in the heart of our Republican Bill of Rights, thanks to Mr. Bush. Okay, and then you have, of course, the confirmation of this tyranny coming down with Obama, with the National Defense Authorization Act of 2012. And I want to repeat myself over and over, but the part that pretty much destroys every due process. And now we live like not anymore in a country with the process. We are before pre-Magna Carta. They can throw you a butt in jail, not even in jail, in the dungeon. And definitely, just because you're suspected. Now, me and you, Merissa, just because we're talking things that could be suspected to be, let's say, at least we criticize the government, okay? Right there. People can really disappear. This is not a conspiracy. It's a fact. And much, much more. So anyway, all I'm saying, I could never vote for anybody who supports this type of travesty. So I hope and pray the people of the state of Arizona, for the first time after 30 years, electing that clown called Senator McCain, finally, they got some senses. They stop thinking with the party. They start to think with their brain and with their heart. That's all I can say. And you are there, at least you're trying. I'm sorry. I wish you had more money behind. I wish you had more something. But at least you put your face out and you give us a chance to do not vote for Mickey Mouse. That's what I would vote for. Seriously. If I have you. And normally I don't say what I vote for before the elections on the station. But this time I will say. I will never vote for McCain. I will never vote for what's her name. And at that point, if there is a libertarian option, I will get that without even thinking. I'll give you the floor.
Absolutely. So, and I even look at, recently I've called Donald Trump Arizona's golden calf. And that's because what we're seeing is that people are looking to the same old politicians, and I consider Trump as one of the same old politicians because he's funded the duopoly for the last 3 decades. And so he is part of the result of what we see today, and they constantly just, every single law that they put in place is to seek more and more power from the government and take away more and more of our liberty. And even when you talked about McCain being with La Raza, we see the same type of pandering coming out of our presidential candidates also. Trump literally went to Mexico, said that we need to make the hemisphere great again. That's a direct quote. Make the hemisphere great again, that Mexicans are great. Flew to Arizona, then talked about building the wall and how awful Mexicans are. And then his Latinos for Trump stood up on the news and said something about the fact that if we don't vote for Trump, we're going to have taco shops on every corner. I love tacos and guacamole. To me, I was like, yes, let's vote for Gary Johnson so that we can have taco shops in every corner and maybe have enough competition that we could get free guac. It's ridiculous the type of pandering that these politicians will do to the American people and Arizonans especially, because everything that they say, offense and whatnot, that's not going to solve the problem. And if people go to my Facebook page, it's at Vote Merissa Hamilton, they will see that I have a comprehensive border and immigration plan to actually solve the problems that we have with more freedom and not less. And we can do this while respecting immigration. You're an immigrant. My family is a family of immigrants. And I think that it's critical that we respect our heritage, especially with the Statue of Liberty, and while at the same time keeping America safe. And we can do both, and we can do it without amnesty, we can do it without deportation, and we can do it with much better ideas than just simply building a fence, because that's already ineffective because the drug cartels have their tunnels and drones and planes and all the other methods that they work around our border fences that exist today.
Exactly. I mean, the point is, listen, there are many ways to stop the problem. The point that both parties want this reality. Even they try sometimes to do a little bit of a show. They need it. The Democrats, they want it for their new reality to have new voters to destroy this republic and transform it in a democracy. The Republicans, of course, they want to try to pander it the same way. More important because, after all, the real Republican Party, the central party, the headquarters, the Bushes up there, they want to destroy the sovereignty of this country. They want to create a new world order. How do you do that? Like in Europe, you need to create a new mud race. And I didn't create this term. That was from Mr. Kalergi, who wrote a book about it, how to create the mud race, the new type of, let's say, Third World War country race. They want to destroy the sovereignty, the identity of each nation. I believe in natural migration when it comes, though, always supported by a system, by the government, not the government, by the nation, to assimilate the people. You know, I mean, and also when there is an immigration that is not, let's say, inflated by the social welfare system. When you came to America 200 years ago, you came here, or you live or you die, okay? If you can make it, that's great. Otherwise, you pack, you come back home. That's the idea. But now you come here, all you got to do, start immediately with the welfare, house assisting stuff, and then you got coupons, then you get food, then you get kids stuff. I mean, it's insane. And more important, there is not really anymore, at least when it comes to this type of situation, a will to assimilate. Take some time and some love, in my opinion. But anyway, regardless now of the immigration, that I think is very important, there are also many other issues. For example, Syria. These international conflicts, they are no wars. They are not declared by Congress. They are unconstitutional act of conflicts, okay? McCain is everywhere. I mean, McCain is being photographed with ISIS. We know proofs that this administration is being financing ISIS. Even the Pentagon has admitted it. And now, we had to go there to fight the terrorists that we created the same first time. I mean, now we are giving weapons to Al-Qaeda, that, by the way, is a CIA creation since the 1970s under the Carter administration. And then we fight ISIS that we create anyway. It's a joke. So I think the Libertarian Party has the right vision when it comes down to at least what we're supposed to be. We're supposed not to go around building and destroying countries. What is your position about Syria and all these different conflicts that McCain wants to bring us in?
Well, the thing is that we played a very strong role in creating the problems that we see in Syria, especially with the humanitarian crisis, by arming the rebels and basically going over there and bombing everything constantly. And I think that now, and we've done that completely with the purpose of having this humanitarian crisis on our hands. And so at this point, I think that we need to go back to being non-interventionists. We need to stop making the problem worse than what's already there. We need to follow our Constitution. But at the same time, I don't think that we should just be mass importing people. But if we just went back to our original standards of immigration that we had before, which was an intense security check and a health check, and you're done, we wouldn't have a huge humanitarian crisis either in bringing refugees over, because the system itself would work itself out. And so I think that we need to pay attention to what's happening. We've created a lot of enemies around the world with a very irresponsible foreign policy for the last several decades, and we need to be accountable for that. So that means not necessarily having open borders or just letting anyone come into the country, but we also need to recognize that our current immigration system has created a black market, And that's the reason why we see the illegal immigration today, along with things like our drug policies have created a black market there. So we already know what doesn't work based on what we have domestically. And by trying to apply that internationally, we've just seen it's been disastrous.
Yes, no, I understand. And I tell you, this is my little way to say I do whatever I can, like you doing whatever you can. Because sometimes I still believe, and I know, honestly, I know that the odds are against us. I mean, the machine is huge. Like, for example, I knew already that probably Representative Borrelli was going to win against former Senator Ron Gould. I don't care. For me, this is not the point to come here on the station and try to side myself with the winner or to try to get points and become more popular. I couldn't care less. At the end of the day, at night, I got to go to sleep. I got to look myself in the mirror before I brush my teeth. And I hate to spit myself in the mirror because after I have to wash it, and I don't like it. So I have my dignity, and I'm here. All I can do, even when I make mistakes, even when I do things probably that I'm not very cautious when I talk, or maybe I got a little bit passionate. By the end of the day, I tell you what comes from my heart, not what comes really convenient to me. I know very well probably I'm not going to get invited to the next Republican Christmas party. Anyway, I didn't go even before. Or I'm not going to get a special card, a thank you card from the local politicians that got elected. Or I'm going to get special whatever invitation or favor or cell phone number. I don't care. Okay? I always follow my heart. And whatever I tell you guys here, even if you agree or not with me, at least I'm honest to myself. Now, before I forget, one thing very important I want to say regarding the local elections for sheriff. We have, we must congratulate ourselves to Mr. Doug Schuster. It seems like he's the new Republican candidate for the sheriff, probably the only candidate. I don't think there is anybody else on the other side. And that's the bottom line. I wanted just to be sure I didn't forget anybody. Now, we are on the phone here with Merissa Hamilton, running for U.S. Senate I don't want to say against, first of all, for the Libertarian ticket, as an alternative to Mr. McCain, Senator McCain, and, of course, the Democratic ticket. So we have an option. Merissa, when it comes down to something that really freaks me out, another thing, that both Republicans and Democrats, I think they're doing the same. For example, the war on drugs. Can you explain in a few words what is this war on drugs? I think it's a war on freedom, in my opinion, but what is your position on this?
Sure. Well, the war on drugs was basically a cute term that they coined to create a black market for the drug cartels. Mm-hmm. All that it's done is it's basically the government saying that they have the right to control what we do and don't put into our bodies. And I myself, I've never done drugs. I haven't even done pot or I think I smoked a cigarette once in high school. I'm very health conscious, and so I don't participate in any of that. But for people that do, that's their choice. Exactly. And the government has no right to dictate what they do and don't put into their bodies. The other piece of it, which I think is really what's more behind the war on drugs, is that many of these drugs, especially marijuana, for example, have medical benefits that benefit not only adults but children, and we're finding are actually cures to many of the diseases that we see today. But because they compete with the pharmaceutical industry, and the pharmaceutical industry is primarily who funds not only our media but also both political parties, they want to keep the war on drugs alive. All it is it's a big way to waste a bunch of money. It's a way to really enslave a good chunk of America, because 40% of our jails are filled with people that simply chose to put a substance into their body and for no other reason. There was no victim. So if there's no victim, there should be no crime.
Exactly.
And
you know what is said.
I think we need to end.
Go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead. Sorry.
I think that we need to end prohibition completely. It's created so many problems. It's created the problems that we see on the border with immigration. It's created a challenge with having a black market that's made Arizona very unsafe. I would argue that it's not illegal immigration that makes us unsafe, but it's actually the black market on drugs that makes us unsafe. Most of the crime that we see in Arizona comes directly from the drug cartels. Even the gang crime that we have in Arizona comes from the drug cartels. If we were to end regular stores like we do today, it would actually be safer for people to partake in marijuana or any other substances than what we have today, because they'd know that they're getting the pure substance. They know exactly how much they can take to have the results that they're looking for. And from a medicinal perspective, then doctors would be able to prescribe these things accordingly and actually help heal their patients rather than all the crazy, ridiculous side effects that the pharmaceutical industry provides.
Yeah, and another thing very important, seriously, and like you, I don't smoke. I don't even like to stay close to the smell of marijuana, okay? And any other drugs. I don't even take Tylenol. I think the last time I took an aspirin was probably about 10 years ago, okay? But that's not the point. The point is this: as a free human beings, we should not become criminals just because, first of all, let's say I want to have a plant in my own home, in the safety of my own house. I like to, let's say, if I wanted to have a plant like marijuana, just to stare at it, I shouldn't become a criminal because I have a plant. Nobody dies. There is no crime, as you said, and that's ridiculous. Number one. Number two, I can drink wine, I can drink beer, I can drink whiskey, I can drink all this stuff that I can enjoy them or I can abuse them. And if I abuse them and I endanger others, I should pay. That's a fact. That's why we have DUI laws. Why we shouldn't treat the same way people who want to enjoy, for example, a plant. If you want to get high on a plant, that's your right. Just do it at your home. And I don't even want to hear about the permit and the little card. I should have no card as a human being to drink a bottle of wine. If I want to get drunk with my wine, I will drink my wine with or without government consent. In the same way, people should have the same freedom to do it if they want to smoke marijuana, if they want to smoke hashish, or if they want to smoke sage. That, by the way, you can get high on sage. Terrible, by the way, I heard. Now, don't give the idea to the government because they probably put it out law. So that's the point. It's about freedom. It's about we are now pretty much slaves, like when we were talking in the past about the seat belts, because the government says so. There is no crime, there is no victim, but guess what? Or you jump or you go to jail because we say so. We own you. That's the bottom line. So I hate the idea that somebody who wants to smoke marijuana in the privacy and safety of their homes without endangering others, they have to become criminals. They have to watch over their back, and also the chance to lose their property, because that's what they do. They confiscate your property, these bastards. And more important, then you got to ask them back for a little card and pay your fee, and then pay this marijuana through the dispensaries that probably they overcharge you anyway. It's impossible to think. But anyway, let's change 1 second topic. CPS, Child Protective Service. I've been following you, and I'm very glad, regardless the politics and the Libertarian Party, whatever, as a human being, as a woman, you took very much to your heart this topic, that it's not just a basic agency from our tax dollar. No, it's much more. In my opinion, it's an abuse of power. It is completely a destruction of our due process, and unfortunately, there is power without check and balance. There is tyranny. Tell us the latest news of what's going on with these child protective services, and more important, we were talking last Sunday about a tragic story about a family of a few little, I think 5 or 6 children, that they were kidnapped while they were staying in Nevada. These people are from Arizona. I give you the floor. You can talk all about CPS now. Hello? I think I lost her. Wow, that was great. Little break, and I'll call you back. Stay there. Don't go away. Okay, that was a little break, and we are back now with Merissa Hamilton, Libertarian Candidate for U.S. Senate in these senatorial elections. And now the topic is going to be about the Child Protective Services. Merissa, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I hear you now. I give you the floor. I want you to educate us as much as possible what's going on with this agency of the Child Protective Services in Arizona in general. And then, of course, a little bit of updates from that tragic situation with that family that had their 6 children kidnapped, in my opinion, while in Nevada. But they are from Arizona. Go ahead.
Sure. So the situation with Arizona CPS, here it's called DCS, actually, Department of Child Services. It's become a very extreme, an extreme trampling on our rights. Essentially, we have no more parental rights. The laws in Arizona have created a system where Arizona can basically take your children from you and terminate parental rights based on hearsay. And the reason why those laws exist is because the federal government, through it was actually a bipartisan law from Hillary Clinton and also Newt Gingrich and the Republicans, to create what's called the Adoption and Safe Families Act. And what this does is it funds the government, funds the states. It actually incentivizes them to take our children. They get bonuses anywhere from $4,500 to $8,000 to take our kids, and then they get paid every single month from the federal government to keep them in their custody, and then they get additional bonuses for terminating parental rights and adopting them out. Now, across the country, the numbers show that the numbers have actually decreased by around 20%, but in Arizona, it's increased by 80%.
Wow.
And if you go on my Facebook page, you'll see that just for the one bonus for adoptions, Arizona went from getting about less than $500,000 in 2008 to now they get nearly $8 million for that one bonus.
Wow. That's scary.
So that's an increase of over 1,300%. And some other stats that are important to know is that 85% of children in the country are taken for neglect. Neglect has a very broad term. It can be simple as CPS coming into your home and seeing that you have dishes in the sink. That's not an exaggeration. They also are able to take, they've taken some kids because the cat litter box smelled like cat litter. Just simply because you have a pet, they've taken your children.
No, wait a second. One second. Say again, because maybe sometimes I'm kind of slow with my English. What is about this cat litter story?
So the last mom that I worked with, they stated in court that the reason for taking her children was because that she was considered neglectful because the cat litter box smelled like cat litter.
Yeah, I mean, that's what cat litter is for. I mean, it smells like cat. And normally you clean it once or twice a day. Depends how many cats you have. That's insane. I heard something else about the dish. There's dish stuff. Is it true?
Yes. So if you have, with the laws are subject to basically the social worker's discretion. So if there are dishes in the sink, and you can actually, there's a former CPS investigator, Carlos Morales, I think is his name, that's actually that's a whistleblower that's talked about the issues that he was required to take children. And one of them was dirty dishes.
Oh my God.
We also had a grandmother that lost rights of her grandson because they said she had low credit score.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not even the slaves during the kings. The king that pretty much decides when he wants to take something that is yours. In this case, the most beautiful possession. I'm talking about no money. I'm talking about your life, your DNA, your blood, a child. I mean, that's insane. Seriously, out there, people you may say, oh, I know it doesn't apply to me. I'm fine. Guess what? First of all, you never know. Number two, doesn't matter. I mean, if these things are real, and I know are real, I did some research myself, by the way, not because it's not happening to you, means that we should just stay silent and mind our own business. This is disgusting. This not even belongs to China or Cuba or some other countries like that. This is supposed to be America, for God's sake, especially the state of Arizona, that normally we still have some basic rights, like the right to keep and bear arms without government approval. I think that we should also have the right to raise our own children without the fear of some parasitic, disgusting, low-level human being prey on our children, and just because using this completely out-of-control legislation can make your life miserable and destroy the future of a family. That's insane. I don't know, at least my show is just a little humble local 3-hour show weekly, okay? I wish I could have more energy and more time, because this is probably one of the most important ways they can destroy our family and can destroy the next generation. Because like Cuba, like China, like Italy during Mussolini, if you want to create a new country with a new tyrannical government, you must control the youth. So the government will take control of the youth in this way also, not just through the school system that is a fraud. It's a re-education camp, in my opinion, but through now also this forced, let's say, kidnapping, legalized kidnapping. They can take your children out of you, and they can re-educate them according to their beliefs. And not even going to what they can do, sexually abusing them, and drugs, medication, that really it's illegal in my opinion. Tell us a little bit about stories. Because I know there are stories that people have been abused, children have been abused.
Yeah, so foster children are actually 7 to 8 times more likely to be physically or sexually abused if they just stayed with their parents. They're also 6 times more likely to die in state custody than if they stayed with their parents. Sure. And they are 3 times more likely to be put on the psychotropic drugs. due to the financial incentives the drug government gives to drug our children. So recently we actually have two really extreme cases going on. The first one is the Shores family. The Shores had their case dismissed earlier this year by a judge. The judge dismissed all charges, returned all of their children to them, except for one, actually, the oldest child they kept in state custody. The remaining children were all sexually and physically abused by the foster home that they were in. And the parents were having to try to rehabilitate them this year. Well, Arizona was upset with the fact that they won their case. They went to Nevada with invalid paperwork, meaning that it wasn't actually approved by a judge, and gave it to the Nevada police. They didn't know the difference, that the paperwork wasn't invalid. They went to the house. They actually took the children by force, and there's the audio that you replayed on the video last week of the children screaming in complete terror and panic, saying, "They're going to kill us. Don't let them take us. They're going to kill us," because of the extreme abuse that they went through under the foster care home. And the CPS worker told them they were going back to the same foster care.
Oh, my gosh. I remember, by the way, we play part of the video. And then I remember that you told me, by the way, the video was taken down. What happened? Did you find out exactly what happened?
Yeah, the video was moved to YouTube so that people would be able to have more access to it. And they also released the full version of the video.
Okay, what I'm going to do this Sunday, I would like to, if you can send me to me again, the new link. I will post this video on the homepage of lovegunsfreedom.com. And then, of course, when I create a dedicated page for today's show, I will leave it there permanently. And I hope more people are going to get educated. And how can we change this? Because I'm not trying to talk about these things here just to freak you out. Yes, that's the first layer. If you don't freak out, it means you're not getting it. Okay? If you think everything is cool and peachy, you're going to go back to your life and watching football and drinking beer. I mean, you can do that after you realize what we are facing right now as a nation, as individuals also. So the first thing we got to freak out, say, oh my God, and then say, what am I going to do? Yes, what you're going to do. You're going to call your state representative. I'm not even going now to Washington. We're going straight to Phoenix. We have 2 state representatives and 1 state senator. This is supposed to be number 1 topic. Regardless if you are Republican, Democrat, Independent, whatever. This agency should never have that type of power to destroy a life of a child and destroy a family. Never. That's the bottom line. Supposed to be some still due process. I believe that there are cases that for sure families, they are somehow damaged and the child must be protected. That's fine. But that's another story. We are going from an extreme to another one. Must be always a due process.
Yeah.
Okay?
In this case with the Shores family, 2 years ago, one of their younger children had a brain aneurysm. And the state tried to say, and had a brain aneurysm while they were in the custody of a babysitter, and died. Oh. And so the Shores had to not only mourn the loss of their child, but then the state came against them, accusing them of abusing their children, of sexually abusing their children, and created all of these just fanatical arguments accusing them of being on drugs and all these other things. When all their drug tests came out clean, they kept the kids, tortured them basically, and then the judge dismissed everything. The state wanted to exert ultimate power and say, not only do you not get to have a fair trial, but even when the judge does give you your kids back, we're going to come against you again for the very same charges all over again. So on Wednesday, we're actually going to be having a parental rights rally in front of DCS at their Durango office. Yeah. The information is in an event on my page. People can go to it, and I highly recommend everyone that cares about parental rights to come out and join. If you can't, then please make phone calls to the governor's office, to Greg McKay, the head of DCS, and then also your local legislators, and I'll be posting that information available on the page too. The other case I wanted to talk about, which is the Smith family. Now, the Smith family, their situation is a medical kidnapping situation. Their daughter had a horrible situation happen, and it was so rare that it had never been reported ever occurring. And so, and I don't remember the exact medical term. It's a long word though, but you can go on medicalkidnap.com to see the site.
Mm-hmm.
She wanted to get the daughter survived that incident, and so they wanted to start doing medical experiments on her. She asked instead to get a second opinion from a hospital that had more expertise in California, and Arizona denied her request and then took away her parental rights. She fought against the state, and out of revenge, they started drugging her daughter.
Marissa, one
they
second.
then took her.
Just because she wanted to have a different opinion, medical opinion from the main doctor, that's what was the reason why they took away her parental rights? I want to just be sure I got it down right. Wow.
Yes, she wanted to get a second opinion, and they said, you don't have the right to get a second opinion. We're taking guardianship over her.
Gee. Oh, my God, this is so...
They then...
Unbelievable. I mean, sometimes, I know because I've been verified these things, but still I'm in state of shock. And the fact that it's happening here in the state of Arizona, it freaks me out. And I want to say something also. Remind us a little bit your website, because you mentioned before, go to my webpage, how they can contact you. People wants to find more about you. Sure. Go ahead, please.
Sure. My Facebook page, which is where I have most of the details of these stories, is at Vote Merissa Hamilton, and Merissa is spelled Merissa. And then my website is MerissaHamilton.com.
Very good, very good. Now, this is such an important topic that you're touching, that I can see how many thousands of lives being destroyed, and in the years, millions of lives. Because this is not just Arizona, there are many other states, the same situation, maybe same or less, doesn't matter, but the same dramas. And I'm telling you, it's like a nightmare, I mean, I can see when you're in that type of world, it's a nightmare. And how can people defend themselves? Is there a way through the legal system you can at least have a chance to stop if they're trying to do such a behavior against you or your children?
It's very difficult because the way that the federal government has incentivized the states is that they have a whole separate court system called juvenile court, or the nickname is kitty court. The caseworkers are allowed to use hearsay against you as a reason to take away parental rights. There's also a law that if the state has your child, if your child is under the age of 3 and the state has your child for 6 months, they can take away your parental rights simply because the child's been in state custody for 6 months, regardless of whether you followed the case plan or not. And then if the child is over 3 years of age, if the child's in their custody for 15 months, then they can take away parental rights. Now, the case plan itself takes longer than that to go through. And in the situation of the last mother that I was working with, she not only followed the case plan, successfully completed the case plan, but she did an additional 20 extra services on her own.
Wow.
Just to improve herself. She was already a good parent to begin with. And the state ended up dismissing all charges against her, but still took away her rights and severed parental rights, and they're trying to adopt her child out now simply because of that law that states because the child's been with the state for 15 months, it's been the best interest of the child to sever parental rights.
Wow. That's pretty amazing. This is a complete, I mean, I don't know. It shocks me a lot, this stuff. I'm telling you. But guess what? It's time for the people of Arizona to do the right thing. I say, first of all, don't believe what we are saying. Do your researches. See what type of travesty they're really doing using our tax dollar. And then you don't need to be a doctor or a PhD or something or any type of political activist. You just become a regular person. But guess what? You have rights. You call your politician that you send down with your tax dollar to Phoenix, and you start to tell him what you learned. And you start to say, you better understand what's going on here and get up with a plan. Otherwise, we're going to make it as a priority. We're going to find every way to at least make your life miserable as a politician if you don't do something to stop these crimes. That's what I'm saying. Simple as that. After all, I always remind, it's millions of us and few hundreds of these parasitic bureaucrats out there, and even less in the state of Arizona. Our politicians, they're really a small number. Supposed to represent us. Let's tell them what we want to do. We don't want to have our children kidnapped by some state agency out there. Simple as that. Okay? All right. You made me really now get my blood pressure going, especially I have no coffee. The last 2 days I had my coffee machine broken. So between that one, and I apologize if I sound a little bit up, but without caffeine, normally I drink at least 6 cups of coffee, espresso every day, and I've been almost 36 hours without coffee at all. And then I hear this news, I'm freaking out. That's all I can say. But anyway, I'm fine. Merissa, I give you the floor. The last 2 minutes to close.
Sure. I would ask that people out there go and do the research yourself. I have a lot of the facts presented on my website and my Facebook page. But recognize the fact that we as citizens, the state is supposed to work for us, not us work for them. And the way that they look at it is that they own us. That essentially that we as citizens and as parents, that we're not allowed to actually have control over our own bodies or even be able to raise our children as we see fit, that they basically like lease our children to us. So join us on Wednesday for the parental rights rally. If you can join us in Phoenix or call your legislation. Even let's just say that the numbers are extreme. Even the fact, though, that they can take your children over hearsay, or they can take your children just because the state has them in custody for so long. This is a corrupt system, and it needs to change. And it's only going to change with we, the people, standing up against this. And, I'm from Arizona. Our state traditionally loves freedom. I think that this is something that most people don't know about. But it's time for the citizens and parents to rally together to demand that we get our rights back, that the state doesn't have the right to remove our liberties.
Yes. And I want to thank you again for what you're doing to educating us, because I know I learned a lot of things just following your post lately. And I want to say everybody out there, beyond politics, beyond the party we belong to or whatever, this is something that should belong to every human being, every family. Please, let's work together for this one. Now, if you want to support the show, there are many ways. One way, of course, you can go to zannacoffee.com. And don't make me mention the word coffee because I'm really freaking out. But please go to zannacoffee.com, the best organic coffee out there, and drink as much as you can. Life is short. Don't be cheap. And then, of course, if you want to enjoy some of my music, you can go to zanna.us, www.zanna.us for just 99 cents. You can download any of my songs. Now, Merissa, I'm going to be in touch with you, especially for these elections. Keep us posted if you're going to be on the ballot. Regardless, we can still use the ink to write whatever we want, correct? Please spell your first and last name.
Absolutely.
Spell your first and last name.
Sure. My first name is M as in Mary, E, R as in Roger, I, S as in Sam, S as in Sam, A. And my last name is H, A, M as in Mary, I, L, T as in Tom, O, N as in Nancy.
Very good. All right. And dear guys and ladies, you've been listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna. This is the first hour. We're going now in hour number 2. Interesting news and legislation about guns, gun rights, and some training. And then we go hour number 3. Incredible guest. It's going to be very fun. Don't go away. And thank you for listening, for putting up with me. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna on United States.fm network. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna on United States.fm network. Here we go, guys. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna on KTOX 1340 AM and on United States.fm network. Yes, this is the second hour about guns. And, of course, I'm on Facebook right now also. By the way, I never really share my Facebook on the air, and I should, because right now I put it live, so you can hear the beep once in a while. I'm not even trying to hide it. I want to know that you can interact with me. And my Facebook, just to let you know, is facebook.com/Zanna, Z-A-N-N-A, Gianluca. Anyway, simple as that. What I'm doing here on this hour, normally we talk about some training ideas, some legislations, how to defend our gun rights. And of course, also, I want to pass some deals. Many times, most of the times, these are not even my sponsors, seriously, because I'm not going to wait to find a sponsor that gives you a good deal to give you that type of opportunity. I want to give you that opportunity, simple as that, because I would like to have every law-abiding American armed with knowledge and also with enough weapons to defend their lives, their families, and our freedom. Simple as that. So anyway, that's what I do. And also, of course, I like to talk about some legislations, things that they're happening in different states. And, this show, the main station is broadcasting from KTOX 1340 AM. It is located in California. Of course, I don't live to California. I left California many years ago. But I always think about it, my California brothers and sisters out there. And I feel because I went through that when I was living in California years ago, and I see how things are getting worse, and I also hope always that things can get better. But that's the point. So right now, really, I wish we could do something to reverse that type of trend right there that is getting really, really, really bad. Now, what I like to share with you is going to be some legislations about things that they already happen. I don't know how can we fix them, how you can fix them, because as I said, I don't live there anymore. But must be a way. I mean, seriously, it's coming to a point that, for example, the first thing I like to say with you, there is this new type of, legislation that the California House and Senate, the government in Sacramento passed. And it's terrible to think that, for example, it's bad enough to have an unconstitutional law, okay? When you have a law that is against the Bill of Rights, a law that really, it's unbelievable how restrictive and completely, it's illogical also. Forget about the Constitution for a moment. It's against all logic, okay? You know that type of gun laws, gun registration, all they're going to do is going to just to limit the right of a law-abiding person to defend himself or herself. That's it. That's all it does. But also the worst part of this type of legislation that they just passed now, that they pass another law that these terrible unconstitutional gun laws will not apply to the politicians. Think about it. So this is something that out of this world. Now, as I said many times, I don't know really what can you do in California right now. I think it's like a cancer when it's been past really beyond the time and point of curing it. Sometimes you gotta cut it off, okay? And don't get me wrong, I always say, till there is hope, till there is life, there is hope, okay? I believe that. But I don't know, really, if you, my dear brothers and sisters, want to spend the last few years of your life, try to reverse something that is so out of control. I'm not for defeat, I'm not for surrendering, but sometimes I believe that it's good to do some strategic retreat. Some strategic, let's say, defensive retreats, okay? So, seriously, if you're into gun rights and you don't want to be treated like a slave, especially after you see what they're doing, these politicians to you, they treat you like completely like a slave. So they do all these unconstitutional gun registrations, registration, of course, and limitations and magazines and everything else you can have on their book. I don't even want to go there now. But the point is the worst part that they pass a law that this doesn't apply to them. Okay, so that's the story. Meanwhile, I have all these Facebook friends writing. That's great. And some of them I will have them also on the show. So anyway, so my solution to this, my humble opinion, is to pack your stuff and starve the beast. Starve the government of California. Completely leave the state, move to Arizona, come here with a good attitude. Okay, don't change it in a new California, please. But the point, come here, you can get all the guns you want, you can get all the ammunition you want, you don't need to register your ammunitions, you don't need to ask permits. We have a beautiful, the number one state in the union, that we have the best state rated for gun rights. So that's great. Don't get me wrong, this state is not perfect. They're still politicians, they're human beings, and they always try to, like rats, to steal from us and to somehow destroy our rights. But when it comes down to the Second Amendment, this state is the number one in the union for at least 3 years in a row, according to Guns and Ammo, if I don't well remember. So that was very, very important, okay? That's all I wanted to say. Now, one thing is very important. Don't lose hope, but find solutions. Don't live miserable. Life is now. And I'm not even talking about the taxation that is terrible and all the bureaucracy and the illegal aliens now that pretty much have more rights than American citizens in California. I'm talking about right now, if you enjoy guns, if you want to feel like, you have at least the right to defend yourself, your family, and exercise your basic right. Seriously. I left Italy. I was able to emigrate from Italy with nothing, okay? And I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not trying to judge you, but for God's sake, you should be able to emigrate from California or from any other states like California. And that would be, for me, the most beautiful way to peacefully protest these leeches working for the government, that they are the government, that they are pretty much restricting your rights. After all, somebody must pay their salaries. In Sacramento, the high-stakes salaries, they're going to be paid by somebody. And the illegal aliens, trust me, they're not going to have enough resources to pay for them. So the system will collapse eventually. So that's the way I will really consider seriously find a way to fight back against all this tyranny. Simple as that. Now, there is much more, of course, than California. There are also other things happening. But I would like to talk to you, first of all, about something that it is really important. You know, as you know, I do not smoke anything. I don't smoke cigarettes. I don't smoke marijuana. I believe it's, for me, it doesn't work. I don't find anything. I like red wine. If I want to enjoy something, that's and coffee, of course. These are my two substances that help me out to enjoy it, to have a little fun. Always with the respect, of course, of others, and never, in my life, I had a DUI. Thank God, and also to my, I'm always very careful. If I drink, I stay home. And I believe a person who would like to enjoy a plant, smoking a plant, like marijuana, should have the same right as I have as a wine drinker. I should be able to drink wine without a license, without repercussion, without fearing for my life that they can confiscate my property just because they find you with a little plant or something like that. Unfortunately, even in Arizona, as I said, we are not perfect. The legislations when it comes down to marijuana is still, a fight, a struggle. Don't get me wrong, things have been happening, at least for people who want to use the marijuana as a plant for medical purposes. They can get their card. But I don't like that idea. I don't think I should get a card to smoke a plant, like I should never get a card to drink a glass of wine. As I said, the only condition is that I'm able to pay for my wine or for my marijuana, whatever you want. And number two, or even more important, number one, what should be happening that I should never endanger others. So there are already laws on the book. For example, like DUI. If you drive and if you found intoxicated, justly, you should be paying something, for your mistake. That's the bottom line. Same story should apply to any other thing, not just wine or beer. So that's the bottom line. But unfortunately now, if you want to buy a gun in Arizona and you have one of these medical cards, by the way, they give you the opportunity, is not the right, unfortunately. It's still a privilege to buy marijuana for medical purposes. Unfortunately, they can deny, they will deny your gun rights. There was an article on KOAA, Channel 5. The U.S. court upholds ban on gun sales to marijuana card holders. A federal government ban on the sale of guns to medical marijuana card holders does not violate the Second Amendment, a federal appeals court said Wednesday. So this is a federal law, of course. Much Obama that is for pot or smoking. First of all, this guy, forget about marijuana. He is a crackhead, okay? And we know very well he was on cocaine, and maybe still on cocaine. Who knows? But the point is, so much for the change. There are no change, really, guys. You've been screwed by Obama like much you were screwed also by Bush. So much that you have no more Second Amendment rights if you have to use, for medical reason, your marijuana. And my point is, why not even if you had to use, for example, that oxycodone or whatever these FDA-approved drugs that, by the way, they're much worse than any type of natural drugs out there. Or maybe if you found yourself that you drink wine or whiskey. Why not there too? Trust me, I'm being sarcastic here. Probably they will do it pretty soon. So that's my point. And this is very sad. In my opinion, it's very sad. The Ninth Circuit made a decision of 3-0. Agreed that it's reasonable for federal regulators to assume a medical marijuana card holder is more likely to use the drug. So what? I can drink the wine and I can get intoxicated. If I make a mistake, I will pay the consequences. But you cannot generalize everybody who's drinking wine that must have their Second Amendment removed because you say so. Scum. That's my commentary. As I say, guys, I am not really a news guy, okay? I am mostly what you can say, probably I read some news and I give you my commentary. And maybe some of you may find this kind of sometimes little stern or maybe not really exactly diplomatic. As I said many times, I'm not here on the air to make friends. I'm not here to get this type of situation, position to say, okay, I'm going to get invited now to the next Republican Party or whatever party meetings or Christmas party. I don't care. I'm here to tell you what I think. And if sometime I sound a little bit harsh, because this is my way to express my, let's say, concern, to express my disappointment, and to show that we still have freedom of speech here. Because I tell you, things I can say here on the air, I never was able to say the same type of things in Europe. And maybe if some of you may say, okay, so big deal. No, for me it's a big deal. The fact that, for example, I can talk still freely in this country and I still have freedom of speech. And by the way, I want to thank KTOX because, I have freedom of speech no matter what. But as I said, KTOX, after all, at least when they rebroadcast my show, is still their own business. And I respect the owner that pretty much can decide to do whatever he wants. Okay? That's his toy. At the end of the month, he puts the gas to get this toy going. So I have no problem if one day say, by the way, look, I don't like the way you talk. I don't like what you talk about. That's fine. It's his business. No big deal. Not impersonal. He does what he wants. So I'm not here demanding or expecting anything from anybody. But all I can say, though, I want to be thankful, first of all, for the opportunity to still live in America, that I have that right, no matter what the government may say or not, we have that right, all of you, all of us, to exercise freely, always in the respect of that we don't want to say things, for example, that would be endangering others. So in my speech, I may sometimes sound like harsh. I may use words that probably they don't really gonna get me a trophy as a, English speaker, or maybe I'm not gonna get invited to the next United Nations diplomacy event. That's fine. I don't care. But I'm never going to use violence or threats against anybody. That's the bottom line. That's where I draw the line. I always believe that we should be using violence only to defending innocence life, and of course our life, and of course our liberty too, if we have to. So, but that's my point. Now, back to this. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful to be here. But by the way, I can ask something to my Facebook new friends, especially the one that they are sending me. Seriously, there are some stuff here that why they are sending me. I'm receiving a lot of these porn requests, or girls all in bikini that I have probably 2 or 3 friends. I don't know who you are. Maybe you may be just hookers, or maybe you are real people, but I'm not the type of guy. I really don't need that type of attention. I appreciate it. If you are a fed, I'm sure you don't need a trick either. If you want to be my friend, just tell me I'm a fed and I'll friend you, okay? Anyway, that's the bottom line. So anyway, that's the story. So this is the second hour about guns. And we have another news, terrible news in my opinion. ATF, you know very well, ATF, this agency, one of these 3 letters agency from the federal government that in my opinion is completely unconstitutional. It's completely another breach of our rights. But unfortunately, the sad thing is they start to regulate and do things like, for example, other agencies out there, like the EPA. Without any type of congressional oversight. After all, our only Congress should make laws. Not the president, not the judges, and for sure not some overpaid bureaucrats out there. But they call it regulations. So through regulations, this agency always trying to find a way how to ruin our life. For example, okay, so there is this new type of release that, let me read it to you, I think it's better. The latest ATF surprise could drive ammo prices through the roof. Okay, this is an updated article. Okay, for now we are okay, but it seems like that they were trying to pass this sort of regulations on the ammunition in a critical component of smokeless powder, and they wanted to treat it as high explosive, okay? So, when you have, let's say, a box of ammunition, so far, it's treated like just ammunition. You don't need any special permit to storage it. If they wanted to, let's say, impose this new type of regulations that everything with the smokeless powder, every ammunition, they wanted to reclassify it as high explosive, then there's going to be a new set of standard to storage and transport the ammunition, because you must be treating it like high explosive. So the ammunition supply, it will go crazy. I mean, to comply to these regulations, all the costs going to go up. Now, so far we are okay. Manufacturers and importers of smokeless propellant have relied on ATF private letter ruling issued prior to 2016, stating that nitrocellulose wedded with water was no less than 25%. There are some technicalities. Bottom line, so far we are okay. But they tried. Again, they were trying to treat this as explosive. The regular ammunition box, the regular center fire ammo would have been treated as high explosive. So we gotta watch it. That's what I'm saying. We gotta watch it, because that things can happen anytime. You know, I'm not saying that Trump is going to be the savior. As I said, I don't know anything about this guy. All I know that a few months ago, a couple of years ago, he was supporting Obama. He voted for Obama. And then, of course, he's all the opposite. So, only God knows. But at the same time, I know for sure, Hillary, it is not even a secret. She doesn't even try to fake it. It's going to be straight to civil war. And I don't like wars. You know, my family in World War II were at wars. Was a civil war. They had to fight not just against the Nazi, the occupying force, but also against their own people. When some of, the population supports a tyrant like Mussolini, and you don't want to go along with that plan, and on top, you're going to facing a situation that you're against each other. Sometimes even in the families. So that's very sad. I pray for peace, seriously. But at the same time, I know for sure, if we're going to have somebody like Hillary, it's not going to be an option, peace anymore. That's the fact. So that's all I can say. Let's be vigilant. Let's try always to at least follow, because unfortunately they will try to pass those regulations, and sometimes they will try no matter what. But when they see that we the people, at least we still have a voice, I don't know why they care so much, but maybe they're a little concerned of the public opinion, and we got to show it. But I tell you, if Hillary is going to get in, there is no more public opinion. New judges, they're going to be replaced. Not because I need a judge, telling me that I have the Second Amendment right or not, but they will try in that way. And I'm telling you, it's going to be very serious, very serious. That's all I can say. Speaking about this type of situation, I posted on Facebook a few times, sometimes many times, photos of me with my rifles, some of my rifles. I don't show everything, but, I like to enjoy what I work hard and get my display of things. Some people, a friend of mine exactly, Facebook friend, asked me, "Hey Luca, are you not concerned to display your guns?" And I say some, because I don't display them all, on Facebook. Now the government knows what you have, and when it comes down to the gun confiscation, they will come to you. I have my simple answers to you, my friend. You're a friend of mine. I appreciate your concern, by the way. First of all, the government or whoever out there, they already know I have guns. I mean, after all, I have a radio show called Love, Guns, and Freedom. I'm not here to hide it, okay, or to be shy about it. So that's fact. No matter what, they will come after me. But also, more important, my friend, there is only one way anybody will be able to get my guns. And I'm not trying to be here like a big shot, a hero, Rambo. No, I'm a regular guy. And by the way, I enjoy life. I like to be left alone. I hope to be in peace. I don't remember last time I went into a fist fight. For sure not in America. Since I've been here 18 years, I'm the most peaceful guy you can meet. I'm not a coward, but the point is I won't start the fight. If you start it, I will finish it. But the point is I try always to avoid it. That's my philosophy. Okay, at the end of the day, there is no winner. I don't believe in violence, but violence will be used to defend my life or to defend my freedom and our republic. That's a fact. But regardless, as I said, more important, the only way anybody will be able to get my guns is after I am not able anymore to breathe or to have any type of blood left pumping in my veins. Simple as that. So everything I say here on Facebook or I do, it is always in my rights as an American. Here on the show, I talk about things that is in our rights. I shouldn't be afraid. I shouldn't be ashamed. Okay? And for sure, I will not bow down to fear to exercise my rights. The moment that we bow down to fears, they already won. The moment that I have to hide my guns, they already won. Don't get me wrong. I believe in tactical, let's say, deployment of guns. Let's say if I have more than one gun, I have only two hands. So technically, I'm not going to leave all the guns available to be confiscated. It's called stashing them. But at the same time, I will always have a gun on me, especially in the day they will start gun confiscation. Simple as that. So, if some petty tyrant out there will decide to try to get my possessions against my will, I will be sure that I will not comply. Simple as that. And as me, I am also pretty sure, of course I cannot speak for the others one, but I can see that there are few millions of natural born American, they will give you the middle finger to you, any type of wannabe tyrant will try to get our guns. I believe that deeply. So therefore, even the odds, of course, they're against me. I'm sure that if the day comes, probably it's going to be a short day for me, maybe. Regardless, F off, that's my answer. That's the bottom line. And this is not a threat, by the way. I'm not trying to threat anybody. It's just a promise. Like the promise that I took when I took the oath during my day of my citizenship. And the oath was very simple. To defend this republic and its constitution. That's the bottom line. Simple as that. Now, you're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna. I want to get a little bit of a little sponsor. And by the way, the sponsor mostly are my sponsors. Because this way we can always talk freely about everything we want here. So I will play a little bit of a sponsor. I will play a little bit of a song. And I want to remind you, if you want to support the show, all you have to do is very simple. With just 99 cents, you can go to Zanna, ZANNA.us. Download any of my songs. By the way, I have a new song released on digital format. It's called State of Mind. You know what? I may play it now, by the way. I think you're going to like it. And if you can support the show, you can just download the song, go to zanna.us, download that song. So I'm going to play that song. Then we have a little sponsor, then go back. We have incredible, great ideas for training and more deals about guns and ammunition. Be ready. Go away.
Let it go.
In this world where everything seems to be going sideways, when you need things set straight, Zanna Coffee Straight Shot Espresso. Start your day with a bang. The best organic and GMO-free coffee beans from around the world to amplify your senses and enhance love for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Zanna Coffee brings you happiness in every cup. Fair trade, certified, sustainable, organic coffee. That means we do not use slaves. Free Zanna songs with every coffee bag. Find Zanna Coffee at www.zannacoffee.com. www.zannacoffee.com. Don't be cheap. You deserve the best. Get Zanna Coffee at www.zannacoffee.com. Here we go, guys. This is the final part of second hour. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna on KTOX 1340 AM. And by the way, just to let you know, in case you would like to re-listen to the show, there is an archive on my YouTube channel that also, of course, you can find on lovegunsfreedom.com. Now, I was talking today, by the way, with an interesting guy, Facebook friend. That is interesting because, as I said many times, you can use Facebook in different ways. You can use it for wasting time, or you can use it to connect with like-minded people or to engage in conversation and debate, also for learning things, seriously. And I found this tool is very good, at least very helpful for the show. Don't get me wrong, I'm pretty aware what really Facebook is. Facebook is it is not a free enterprise. It is a plant. It is some sort of self-voluntary, let's say, confession place created by officially, you see little Mr. Zuckerberg or whatever it's called, but technically this guy, it is not just some idiot out of college, okay? He's, by the way, is the nephew of David Rockefeller, and of course, there is a lot of funding, and is used by different government entity. So it's the perfect tool to spy on everything we do. Now, that's fine. I understand that. At the same time, I want to use them against the system. I want to use them to free humanity. I want to use it to find each other. So anyway, I found this interesting guy that I'm going to have probably next Sunday. He's an American guy. He's from Arizona, by the way. And according to what I know, for what he said, and what he's posting on his website, he also a volunteer. He went to Syria to fight ISIS. And don't get me wrong, I said many times here, and I also posted on his post, if you want to fight ISIS, probably I could save you a lot of gas money and time. You don't need to go to Syria. All you have to do is go into Pennsylvania Avenue, and there you can find the ringleader. It was kind of a joke, but not really, since we already know, and it's also declassified information directly from the Pentagon and the different agencies, that bottom line, the White House and this administration, they have been funding ISIS to overthrow Assad. Okay? So that's the idea. We know that. It's a fact. So it's sad, at the same time, I respect a lot everybody who takes the courage, the time, their money to risking their lives to try to stop something that is real. The ISIS, unfortunately, they chop your head. There are people that they created to create chaos. At the same time, who is really behind them? That's the problem, At the same time, it's going to be an interesting interview, I really believe, because it's going to be about guns, it's going to be about training, it's going to be also experience first eye. I didn't go to Syria. I would like to know more what's going on. And also, it's putting me in connections with real guys that they're there locally and from Kurdistan. People that they've been oppressed and they've been somehow slaughtered. So that's the reality. Unfortunately, it's a very sad story, but we need to learn a little more. And on top, I would like to get the opportunity to get this experience. So that's the story. Now, back to us. Elections time is getting really close. We are right now, first week of September. That in a few weeks, this situation with Hillary, that she's supposed to be in jail. That. Everybody knows that. Even Democrats. Think about even the people from, the people that they voted for, as I said, for the underdog, okay? Out there and didn't vote for Hillary, okay? If you voted for Sanders, the fraud. This woman is nothing but good. I mean, the point is she's not just nothing but good. The point she's completely, look at the things she's done, the emails, the scandals. I don't want to repeat myself over and over. I mean, anybody else lying to the federal agency or agents, lying to the FBI, using servers, private servers for classified material would have spent probably a lifetime in jail, federal prison. Okay, so that's the point. But the focus now, as I said, it is not just about thinking really what's going on. It's thinking about what's going to happen. Because if somebody like her, the system, the elite behind the scene, they've been defending her and they've been pretty much putting her above the law, things like that don't happen by accident. Okay, there is a big, I mean, they're doing in front of our face. So that's the reality. But the point is, what I'm saying now, think about when she's going to be probably the next president, liking it or more. I think even she's going to be probably with some disease or mental illness or whatever she has in her brain. The point is they want her as a puppet. The agenda is clear. She will come after our guns. I'm saying this because right now is still a good time to buy, invest in whatever you need. Seriously. The price of the ammo is still decent. And don't get me wrong, it's changing. Now, before I go ahead, if you live in Mojave County, I want to let you know, for example, that the Don't Tread on Us, the Freedom Rifle by Zanna, and I just created a project, okay, and of course I worked very hard to find the upper that I wanted, and I work in collaboration that pretty much is not even a collaboration. I suggest you to get the lower that I suggest you. You can get an incredible AR-15 in M4 configuration for just $499 made in the US. Now, my point I was trying to say, if you live in Kingman, there is a new store where you can find the Don't Tread on Us rifle. And let me give you the address, because I think it's very important. Time is going short. Okay? So, first of all, just to let you know, you should go to freedomrifle.com. freedomrifle.com. Okay? When you go there, if you are from out of state or outside Mojave County, you can find the link. First of all, order here. You will see how easy it is. You need to have just a local FFL dealer in your state. Of course, states like California, New York, Massachusetts, I'm sorry guys, nothing we can do, okay? But for other states, click the bottom, order here. Now, if you want to find local dealers, for example, in Mojave County, you can find them in the bottom called dealers. There is a new dealer in Kingman. It's called Shots, S-H-O-T-S. It's located at 3140 Airway Avenue, Kingman, Arizona. And I give you also the phone number, 928-681-3400. Excuse me, I need some coffee. Anyway, so 3140 Airway Avenue, Kingman, Arizona, is selling the Don't Tread on Us rifle for just $499. And don't forget, it comes with a bunch of freebies, okay? And I don't even want to remind you. Just go to freedomrifle.com and you will see. Then, of course, in Golden Valley, there is Stacy Surplus, Highway 68, 4195. Highway 68, number 4195, Golden Valley. And I give you the phone number, 928-303-1869. Then if you're in Navasu, there is a great shop. It's called Havasu Guns, 2115 McCulloch Boulevard North. And exactly is 928-302-1991. 928-302-1991. And you can find, they Don't Tread on Us rifle. That's the bottom line. For $499, I don't know if the next batch, next month, I'm going to be able to guarantee the same price. Because things are going to go crazy. And already factories, they are getting overloaded. And when everybody's going to freak out and they start to realize that, yes, Hillary is not spending time in federal prison, but unfortunately, she may be the next president, she already told us on the open what she's going to do. Simple as that. There is no other things to say. That's all I can say. We're going to face the reality. She has the opportunity to change, of course, to push the new Supreme Court justice. And you will see. You're going to have probably some anti-guns ready to go, like he's already planned. And they will try to challenge also the Second Amendment itself. So that's my point. Now, back to ammo. Deals. As I said, guys, I want to always share with you whatever I learn, whatever normally I shop for me, I want to share it with you. Because I would like to have every law-abiding person out there armed, as I said many times, first with knowledge, and then of course at least with a rifle and ammunition and a gear. Now, don't forget also the handgun, but the first thing comes the rifle. That's why I wanted to push somehow the idea that this Don't Tread on Us rifle, it is really, for the price of a handgun, you can have incredible military-grade rifle. And when you go to freedomrifle.com, seriously, go check it out, the area, the little section called Testing the Rifle. You will see videos. You will see how this rifle perform. This is not just some hot air talking. We shoot the rifle. I shoot the rifle. I test thousands of rounds. I ran over with an Humvee, almost 11,000 pounds, the owner of the factory of the lower, the Plum Crazy Generation 2, he ran over this lower with an Humvee on the asphalt. And this lower is still workable. It's amazing. So that's my point. Now, little bit deals on ammo. You know, as I said, you buy ammo wherever you can find. That's great. But sometimes, you know, people overlook internet. I have a lot of friends that like to buy ammo from local shops. And that's great. I mean, if you want to spend a little more, that's great. But if you buy bulk, honestly, in my humble opinion, I tell you what I think. You know, I hate to give a sale tax just because you do a transaction to whatever you are. I mean, that's your money, honestly. So buy out of state. I know people say, oh, not really good. You know what? This state is already making enough money out of us. I don't feel sorry. They need to reduce and cut their cost, okay? I don't want to give more blood to any government. That's the bottom line. So whenever you do it legally and buy out of state through the internet. Of course, if you're in California, I don't think you can do that anymore. But regardless, let me give you a website that I really like. They do great deals, have great deals on ammunition. For example, it's let's start with the website itself. SSM, G as golf, ammo, AMMO.com. Okay, they got incredible deals. First of all, if you want to look for, let's say, 223, okay? 223, something that normally, you know, they're kind of getting pricey, okay? But for training, there is a good brand. I really believe it works great. It's called Wolf Polyformance, okay? And 223, 55 grains. It works very good with the Don't Tread on Us rifle. They are steel case. Yes, I would not use this for real life, let's say, life or death situations, but for training and for practicing, they're incredible. You can get 1,000 rounds of 223 Wolf for $219.90 and just $16 for shipping. Not bad at all. 2016, these are not bad prices. So something to think about it. And you also don't pay sale tax. Now, if you want something a little more, you know, military grade, there are, for example, they also selling 1,000 rounds of 5.56, 62 grain, green tip. It's like a mild steel core penetrator. Okay, full metal jacket. It corresponds to the military M88 855. And these are made in Israel. Okay. For $359. Not bad. Almost 36 cents a round. But you got brass, you got steel core, military spec 5.56. That's stuff normally what I would use to save my life. And $16 shipping. So not bad at all on SG Ammo, okay? Then of course you can find other great deals. Just shop around. And if you shop to SG Ammo, they're not my sponsor, but let them know, by the way, I found you through Love, Guns, and Freedom. Just let them know, because maybe I would like to ask them if they want to support the show. I really think they're doing a great job. They got good products, fair prices, and very fair shipping. How can you get wrong? Now, if you like to shoot 9mm, you know, like normally I do, I suggest you to look into, for example, for practice, always find the most affordable things, okay? Don't get me wrong. When I carry 9, I carry the best stuff for defense. But for practice, why waste the money? There is a great deal on Tula Ammo, T-U-L-A Ammo, for 1,000 round, 9mm Luger, 115 grain full metal jacket, steel case, for $159. That's not bad. $160 for 1,000 round. Free shipping, no sale tax. Okay? So it's something that I would suggest you to look. And many other little deals. Don't get me wrong. There is so much. If you want, I think so far, one of the best places to buy ammo. My humble opinion. Okay? Now, back to us. As I said, this is the time. If you have a rifle, don't be cheap. Buy extra magazines. if your rifle is a magazine-fed rifle, okay? Don't waste time saying, I'm going to buy next month. Because when next month comes and Hillary or whoever's going to be in charge, they're going to pretty much push. It's a fact. No matter what, even if it's Trump is going to be there, you will see gun control will be on the table, always. It's a struggle between two forces. They've been trying to do this. They've been doing this since 1934 for sure. That's a fact. With the National Firearm Act. So now, magazines, they're still affordable. This is one of the best times to buy magazines. You can buy 30 rounds magazine for your AR-15 for like $9, $10. So shop around, look around. Another place I like very much for magazines and also accessories, I think they have a very good deal on things like that. It is CDNN Sports, Charlie Delta November Sports. CDNNsports.com. They also got good deals on rifles, by the way. But let me tell you something. I'm not trying to be cocky, but it's true. They don't trade on us rifle. The Freedom Rifle by Zanna, it is the most affordable still on the market. You buy the lower, you buy the upper, you put it together in a snap, and you got an incredible military-grade rifle for just $499. And don't forget what you get, all the other freebies that you get. I'm not going to repeat it now because you go to freedomrifle.com and you can check it out. So that's pretty much the main story, okay? Now, something to do together. I told you many times, for me, shooting or learning how to shoot, it is not just something I do for fun. It's a duty. And also it's a pleasure. And of course, it's also something I like to share. I'm not a professor. I'm not an instructor. I just try to learn. I call myself a professional student. That's what I do. I always think there is something more to learn from anybody out there. Even when you think you know things, you go to, let's say, share what you know with people that probably maybe they know less than you do, but you learn something. I realize that because I always learn more also from people that they also give me opportunity to express myself, to learn better, to improve myself. So that's the idea. Now, Sunday, normally every Sunday or almost every Sunday, if you send me an email through my website, you can go to lovegunsfreedom.com. You can send me an email. From there, you'll find my email. I do a sort of, let's say, people sometimes go to help in churches or to hospitals. I just like to volunteer my time to try to share what I know to my fellow Americans. And I go to the range. That's what I do. So what I do, I invite, first of all, people already bought the rifle. Let's say they don't trade on us and they want some help. Many of them, they are probably the first-time customers that ever bought a rifle. Or maybe they shot the rifle 30 years ago, okay? And I want to help them out, at least to be safe, at least to know the basic how to work with the rifle, okay? The basic type of ergonomics and functions, everything. That's the point. So you're welcome to come with me, okay? But I ask you I let you know the location, the time. If you're in Mojave County, it's pretty easy to reach me. Normally I do a place that it is in Mojave County. But I invite you, just go to the website and send me an email. So at least I can let you know. And it's free. And by the way, if you never shot the rifle, I also let you shoot the Don't Trade on Us rifle for free. Think about that. That's something that normally, like when you go to a car dealer, they let you do a little bit of, free test drive. That's pretty much what I do. And that's the story. Simple as that. So I would like to invite you for that. Now, a little bit of training ideas. Because I believe that, we can talk about guns all you want. At the end of the day is how you train with your gun. And as I said, I don't care which gun you have. I don't care if you have a $3,000 SCAR or whatever fancy rifle you have, or you have a $500 Don't Trade on Us, or maybe even just $99 used to be, not anymore. Let's say $130, $140 Mosin Nagant. If that's your weapon, you blend in with that weapon. You make it like your second nature, like an extension of your body, of your soul. So that's the idea. Training is essential. As I said many times, it starts with the mindset. The mindset means that you are the weapon. No matter what you have, you may have, just a pencil in your hand, or you may have your nails, or you may have a beautiful fancy, 1911. Doesn't matter. You are the weapon. Then whatever extra extension you have, a gun, a rifle, or a spear, or a gladius, a sword, that's just an extension. It's an extra tool. So first of all, mindset. You are not a victim. The point is, with the moment that you decide that you need to act to save your life or to save the life of an innocent, you already made that decision. You're not going to be the first one to start the fight, but you will be the one to finish the fight. That's the bottom line. This is not a game. Somebody's trying to kill you. They're not going to play fair. If you're down on the ground, or let's say you lose that fight, your wife is still going to be raped. Maybe your daughter too. And maybe you're going to be all killed. They're not going to say, okay, let me give you another chance. Replay. Start over. Start again. No. So mindset means that once you decide that the line is being drawn, the line is being crossed, the line in the sand that you draw, you give them all the warnings, you try to do everything you could. But once you decide that it's the time to act, you have no more any second thought, you will go with everything you have. Then, of course, second thing is going to be techniques, training, marksmanship, knowing your weapon. That's why I say I don't care if you have a black powder single shot or if you have a full automatic or semi-automatic weapon. Of course, better, more technology is better. But at the same time, whatever you have, you will know that weapon. That's the bottom line. Now, another thing I like to spend a little time, it is how to train with the weapon. I see many times, too many times, and I used to do this myself, okay? I go to the range, you think, okay, I'm having a great fun time at the range. It is the range. I'm shooting at paper targets, and after all, they are not shooting back at me. So it's not really a real training. Yes, it can help to cure, or at least to master the basics. But you need to think, even when you shoot at that paper target, you don't see anymore a paper target. You need to visualize somebody, I don't know how to say right now without using wrong words, but anyway, some real nasty piece of trash of a subhuman being try to rape your daughter, or maybe try to kill you, try to steal everything you have, and maybe throw your body in the garbage. You need to visualize that. You want to train like it's real. Try to make it in your mindset. Create like a scenario. Try to be like an actor. Impersonate yourself in the situation. Create a real scenario. Don't just shoot. Okay, I'm shooting at paper target. Haha, that was great. No. You're shooting at a bastard who's charging you maybe with a knife in the middle of the night. And he's ready to slit your throat and rape your daughter and rape your dogs if they have to. Because they will. There are sick bastards out there. So you're going to face that training session and you're going to put all the energy, all the determination that you have, like you were really facing a real scenario. This is the number one thing, to create that mindset. Then, of course, I say always, find real training. Whatever weapon you have, if it's a handgun, shotgun, or rifle, you must have down the techniques, you must have down a curriculum. There are many schools out there. I'm not going to tell you which one. You find out yourself. Find some instructors. Maybe there are some people out there, they are veterans. Maybe there are people that they really would like to help you out. As I said, this is a must. Not because you can just load up the gun and maybe put some some bullets into the target, paper target, you're ready. There is so much more to know. You know how, first of all, to manipulate the weapon. Reload, unload, emergency reload, tactical reload. Does it sound familiar? How to clear malfunction, 1, 2, and 3. How to shoot on the move. How to shoot behind cover. How to shoot from standing, sitting, prone. Behind the car. Under the car. Think about it. How to shoot maybe with a partner without shooting at each other. How to shoot and communicate. How to shoot under time constraint. When you shoot at the target, most of the times, I see, people enjoying and having their time, and that's great. Don't get me wrong, it's beautiful. I think it should be also fun. It is fun. But you don't have all the time you want. They're shooting back at you. They're also moving. So try to recreate a scenario that really start to simulate that. That's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. So that's really important. So to just end up this message, all I'm saying, if you live in Mojave County, feel free to contact me. I enjoy to meet you. Also, if you're one of my listeners, and we can go shoot together. Bring your rifle. If you don't have a rifle, bring some ammo. Bring you not reloads, please. And I'll let you shoot. They don't trade on us rifle. And if you're a woman, I give you free ammo. How does it sound that? Yes, I am kind of a racist when it comes to that. Man pays for the ammo. And women, I give them free ammo. Just kidding. But it's true. I try to help women, okay? You guys, you can somehow bring ammo, okay? Anyway, that's the bottom line. And that's the story. Now, just to let you know, I wanted to share a little bit something that, I've been working so hard. I have 3 books out that they're ready to be finished. They need just final photos. And I've been so busy now with the Don't Tread on Us rifle, with the Zanna Coffee and the show and many other projects. So I'm kind of behind on those, but we are ready to go. The handgun book, by the way, handgun training for self-defense is finished. It needs just to be put out. I'm working on photos, so I was going to do this. There are a couple of things I wanted to share with you, for example, and I believe that, there are many topics that I touch during this, in this book. And if I would like to always go back to, every week I would like to bring you one, at least once in a while, maybe not every week, okay? But for example, one I like to do is this time to talk about the basic front sight test, okay? Front sight is the school normally I go training there, and I think they have a good curriculum. And what I'll do, I will send you the test, the curriculum, on demand via email. If you want to know how to qualify and also distinguish or graduate, there are 2 different ways, distinguish or graduate, 2 different things, at front sight, I will send you via email the test that you can practice yourself. All you need is a target, and you're going to be shooting from 3 yards all the way to 15 yards under time and about 25 rounds, okay? And a timer. You need a timer. Believe it or not, front sight, the basic handgun class, the 4 days defensive handgun class, the curriculum is one of the most demanding in the industry. Only 5% distinguish the first time they attend the class. And that's really good. I like it. I like things like that. And don't get me wrong, even if you don't get the certificate, you don't distinguish the first time. Doesn't matter. You will always learn much more, okay? So that's my point. That's my point. But the point is just let's train. Let's train together. Let's not just feel comfortable. And when I go to the range, by the way, I rather to make mistakes. I rather to push my limits there. I'm not there to show off. I'm there to push myself and to find my mistakes. Okay? Because at that point, I know that when I'm in the real life, hopefully I have a better chance to succeed. That's the point. This is not a game. This is not a competition against each other. What I really believe it is, it's a journey, and it's a journey with yourself. That's why I like to have also a little booklet. At least I write down my progress, And when I do bad, I also like to write them down even more, because I want to see when I improve. For example, what is your presentation time? Let's say 7 yards with a target in front of you from conceal, and you need to present the gun into the fight and deliver a control pair 7 yards from conceal. And maybe you should also move on the side, left or right, out of the line of fire while you're doing that. What is your time? Let me know. I'm curious. What I'll do a YouTube tomorrow of my little bit of training like this at 7 yards. It's a good, let's say, conversation distance shooting. Normally they say, FBI statistics said that all the gunfights, they come almost to a colloquial distance, between 3 and 5 yards, okay? From concealed, normally we walk around with a jacket or something like that, and you want to tell me, if you would like to tell me how long it takes to present that gun into a fight and deliver a control pair in the center mass. So send me a video maybe. That would be fun, okay? And that would be really great. We can challenge each other. We can inspire each other. That's the idea. Now, another thing I want to say, if you want to support the show, as I said, you got to go just also to these local shops I was telling you before. If you want to get the Don't Tread on Us rifle, go to freedomrifle.com. You can see the dealers, and if you live in Maui County, it's a great opportunity. Or just go to freedomrifle.com and you see how to order if you're out of state. Another way, it's coffee. I love coffee, by the way. This week I was without my machine, broke down my espresso machine for about almost 36 hours. I was crying. That was terrible. Anyway, coffee is good. I believe it's really good. Keep you awake, keep you sharp, and it's good flavor, and I don't know, for me some sort of a physical pleasure. So anyway, if you want to support me, go to Zanna Coffee, ZANNA coffee.com. okay? You can get any bag of coffee you find, and the prices are great, especially if you get the package, the 3 packages. Now, ready for our number 3, we got incredible guest. It's incredible young lady, and I think you're going to enjoy it, okay? So don't go away. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna. Ciao. In this world where everything seems to be going sideways, when you need things set straight, Zanna Coffee Straight Shot Espresso. Start your day with a bang. The best organic and GMO-free coffee beans from around the world to amplify your senses and enhance love for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Zanna Coffee brings you happiness in every cup. Fair trade, certified, sustainable, organic coffee. That means we do not use slaves. Free Zanna songs with every coffee bag. Find Zanna Coffee at www.zannacoffee.com www.zannacoffee.com. Don't be cheap. You deserve the best. Get Zanna Coffee at www.zannacoffee.com.
Have you ever met someone on an online dating site and thought, wow, this guy is perfect for me, or she is simply amazing, only to find out they were hiding a deep, dark secret? They plan to vote for Hillary. FreedomLovers.us was created for singles who want to exchange ideas and a love for freedom. People who are looking for solutions to create and defend freedom in the real world, and at the same time getting that once-in-a-lifetime chance to find their true soulmate. Whether you are interested in meeting your soulmate, making new friends, networking, or hanging out with that like-minded liberty lover, visit FreedomLovers.us. It's the first free dating site and community. So patriots, don't waste your time with other dating sites. FreedomLovers.us is the place where like-minded singles really click.
Here we go, guys. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna on KTOX 1340 AM and on United States.FM network. Final hour, the hour about love. In this hour, it's the hour where I want to give the opportunity to everybody to share their love. And love is just not a physical thing or an emotional thing. It is also to care about your fellow humans. And that's, by the way, it's emotional, don't get me wrong. So, I don't have any editing unless you say something that is not FCC compliance. After all, this show goes also on the radio. But the only thing I want to give you the opportunity for people out there who wants to share their message, their opinion, an unfiltered microphone. And I say unfiltered because, I cannot control and I don't want to control what you're going to say. The only thing always I say, though, whatever you're saying, if you bring somebody else's name out there, I always want to give the opportunity to the other person that you mention, if you mention it, I have a chance to at least interact or maybe defend itself or whatever. Okay, that's the bottom line. And then, of course, whatever you say, it's always your opinion. I cannot verify from here unless I have evidence that you sent me. But regardless, this is about freedom of speech. This is about interacting with each other. This is about probably learning from each other. Because I tell you, I learned so much in the last almost 2.5 years on this show, things that I couldn't believe my ears. And I tell you, must have an open mind, because there are a lot of things that sometimes would be easier just to avoid, because the truth can hurt. But sometimes that's the way we have to do. We have to hurt a little bit, go through, learn, and it's the only way you can improve or, let's say, resolve a problem or fix a problem, you must admit that there is a problem. Today I have an interesting person on the show. By the way, you're all interested for me, all interesting, because everybody is different, as their different background. But this interesting guy is even more interesting because he's kind of a mysterious person. His official name is called V, like the movie, V for Vendetta. By the way, I love that movie. And he's from California, at least at the moment, and he has some information about targeted individuals. I don't know exactly his background, but as I said, I'm going to give him the opportunity to share his opinions, and I always want to verify wherever is possible, but more important, I want you listeners to verify whatever we say here, okay? So, V, are you there on the air with me?
I am here. Yes.
Nice to meet you, and I want to go straight to the point. Who is V? I mean, who are you? As much you can tell us. I mean, you don't need to give me your address, but what do you do?
Well, okay, I am V, the host of the Red Pill Hardcore radio show.
Mm-hmm.
I started my show to educate people about psychotronic weaponry because I am a targeted individual, much like the whistleblower Karen Stewart.
Okay.
I believe you've had her on your show. I've had her on mine as well.
Yes, I had a couple of times. Correct. Go ahead.
Yes, and so what's different about me, I've actually done the research for this illegal technology being used on the population. And when I say the population, I mean all of America and all of the first world nation, population. The UN has this technology across the board. There's actually secret societies who use these psychotronic or mind-controlled devices to further their agendas. In my case, I was targeted with Voice to Skull, or V2K,
mm-hmm.
also called synthetic telepathy, as where you're hooked up to an AI, artificial intelligence, that is talking to you nonstop, pushing its agendas on you to get you to do things. In my case, I am a NSA mind control victim that I basically was pushed to kill people.
Wow! Did you
much like Aaron, Alexis, and Myron May?
Okay,
they were also targeted individuals, what the NSA calls on-shelf shooters.
Let me stop you 1 second, if you don't mind. For what you recall, and I hope you give me a no, okay? Because I don't want to. It would be kind of shocking news. But did you kill anybody against your will?
No.
Okay, good. I'm glad.
No, absolutely not. I would not do anything to hurt anyone else.
Okay.
And also, I would not do anything to further the agenda of these evil Luciferians that, form these secret societies, I should say, within our government.
Now, listen to me 1 second. Sometimes, first of all, you may control yourself, but if this technology is out there, and I believe it's out there, not everybody maybe is able to control themselves. So that's something that, you're still a human being. Maybe you have some techniques that you can resist, but we know that there is the technology out there. It is not just today. It's been around for many years. Different technologies. Of course, the old-fashioned days used to be MK Ultra, but this is way more improved than MK Ultra. So this is a danger, because technically they could really control you to do things against your will. And you mentioned a couple names of the latest alleged, I say alleged because unfortunately I always like to verify with some sort of a due process in every way, I think, but we have some good, let's say, strong opinions that according to facts, these victims and these also alleged perpetrators, they were under the influence of mind control. So, is that possible that maybe you may not be able to control what you're saying here?
No, it's I'm very much in control.
Okay.
The mind control aspect, it's not so much as a little control, but it's coercion.
Okay.
Imagine someone poking at you, nonstop poking at you,
mm-hmm.
telling you to do something, poking at you. Now, the only way to get out of the scenario is to do what these people want you to do,
mm-hmm.
or you kill yourself, which is okay with them as well.
Yeah.
This is why suicide is up across the world.
That's true.
This is not only a mind control plan, but this is also a depopulation agenda.
The statistics, unfortunately, confirm what you're saying. I wish I could say it's not true. I was looking around the U.S. The statistics of people killing themselves, they're way up. And it could be in many factors, don't get me wrong. You know, the economy is being destroyed, a lot of problems, families being destroyed. But yes, I believe that there is a fact. What you're saying, it is not a conspiracy. There are patents out there. It's proven. It is not even such a new technology. There are machinery that connecting to your brain directly through waves. They can send you messages, can send you sounds, can send you pretty much whatever they want. Doesn't mean that you have to do what they're saying, but could become an harassment, could become also a way to manipulate also, let's say, people that maybe have some religious belief very strong, and they can look at these voices like almost God's willing or whatever, God's voice, okay? So unfortunately, this is true. And for out there, you know, everybody can say, I don't believe anything you're saying. And maybe, you know, you shouldn't. I always say, verify your own information. The point is, even V right now is saying things that we may believe it or not. I need to have some, you know, according to your personal stuff, I always like to have some other corroboration that I will ask you. But then regardless, the technology that you're talking about, it's real. That's a fact. And people can out there, maybe you can give some names. I know you're kind of an educated person in this matter, probably much more than I am. Something that maybe, you know, when I had, for example, some other guests in the past, they were mentioning also some patents, some specific things they can look in Google and find out that this is like a real technology being patented and controlled by private corporations and also by part of the U.S. government. You want to help us out here a little bit?
Yes. I always try to... I'm sorry, is there an echo?
No, I don't have any echo right now.
Okay. There are various ways to find out this information. For example, you can look up the NSA Mind Control PSYOPs manual. You can actually Google this and find this. You know, this isn't a secret. You can look up mind control patents. There's 23 of them that will pop up if you Google mind control patents.
Wow.
Yes, absolutely. Another reference, there was a Dr. Eldon Boyd who worked for Naval Intelligence, and his projects went black. Dr. Eldon Boyd worked with the creator of the neurophone, Dr. Patrick Flanagan, and his research went from communications with dolphins, which they actually found how telepathy works from the dolphins. Mm-hmm. And so, Dr. Eldon Boyd, you can go to YouTube and find his rare interview. I believe the actual title of the video is Dr. Eldon Bird, Rare Interview on Mind Control and Electromagnetic Weapons.
Okay.
It's B-R-I-D, Bird.
All right, good.
Also, another reference, really quick, two more in fact. You can also go to YouTube and type in, "That's Impossible Mind Control." The History Channel did a documentary on the mind control technology, the synthetic telepathy. And then there's also the ex-CIA whistleblower, which I've also had on my show, Dr. Robert Duncan. He put out a book, a PDF that you can download for free on the internet. It's called Matrix Deciphered.
That's really good, because I say whenever you give this information, people at least have a trail to start to look for your journey. It's a journey, okay? I mean, if people still want to believe that, for example, I don't know, other things, out there that there was an airplane hitting the Pentagon during 9/11, you're going to have a little hard time to realize that there is also a mind control plan to enslave humanity. But, it's a little journey. I'm not going to here to judge people. I just say, guys, at least I give you the beginning of the information and you can continue the journey. V, I have a question. Do you have a website where maybe people can listen to your show?
Yes. www.mixcloud.com/the_red_pill/. I also have a YouTube channel called Stop Terrorism.
Okay.
Another great source of information about all the Agenda 21 mind control programs that exist and are being used today.
Okay.
Also, I do have a website as well, www.theredpillhardcore.com.
Okay, perfect. That would be probably one of the best way to remember everybody. Say it one more time, please.
www.theredpillhardcore.com.
Hardcore. So we don't just get the red pill, we're going to get a hardcore, okay, guys?
Hardcore.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got you here. 1 second. Let me find you 1 second. The redpillhardcore.com. There is also the YouTube channel. I found you here. And by the way, I will post also on the homepage lovegunsfreedom.com at least the Red Pill Hardcore, because this is interesting. Now I have a question for you, Novi, and you don't have to answer to me, of course, if you don't want to. But first of all, why? You're a guy, like me. We are all here, and you chose to be V. You weren't born as V, okay? I mean, you didn't have a mask when you were born. So why did you get this sort of new identity? This is for privacy or for security, or just maybe because, I don't know, you have another life? Well, I mean, after all, I like, honestly, when I talk to people, I like to know who they are. And, I have my own name, last name, whatever I say, it's me, luca-zanna. People may like it or not, but I'm not trying to judge. I'm just saying, what is your reason why you did that? They're after you. What is the reason?
Well, some people ask me, that question, and they want to know if it's to protect my identity or if it's to, have it to where I can do some terroristic act or something. It's nothing like that. V is not something I'm hiding behind. V is simply a mantle. After I get done doing what I'm doing for the people, I will pass the mantle down to someone else. There always needs to be someone to be looking out for the interest of the people against tyranny and oppression. Yeah, I will not be the last V that there is.
Oh, I'm sure there are probably another few, I say maybe thousands out there, and I hope even more than that. Everybody who believes in freedom and in the right of individuals, they can call themselves whatever they want. In the past, say, I'm Spartacus. You remember the movie with Spartacus at the end? Say, we're all Spartacus, okay? So you can kill us, but the idea doesn't die. The idea that freedom is going to stay always out there. So I understand that part. Now, I want to also play a little bit devil's advocate, because as I said, on the show we challenge everything and everybody. You say a lot of good stuff, at least something that we can verify for sure. The fact that you mentioned some patents and some real science out there that I think everybody can find out that the mind control, it is not a conspiracy, it is a science, unfortunately used for nefarious aims, nefarious goals. And yes, when you have that type of power, many human beings will abuse that power. Okay, now, you mentioned, though, that you were part of some special program. Okay, like, controlling yourself, try to control yourself like an instrument to do bad things to other people. Now, how can we back it up? Can you give us some extra information, or we can just believe what you're saying?
Well, I guess I should start with how a person becomes a targeted individual. Everyone's story is a little bit different.
Okay.
Mine is quite simple. I was living alone in a place that I was pretty much given. I had recently had some tragic things happen, and my relationship was over, and, I had nothing to do except for sit around on the computer and maybe try to improve myself, get some information, and try to find out why my life was so terrible and why society is the way it is. And I came across social engineering, And then I came across, the Illuminati and the Illuminati members' identities. And all of a sudden, boom, voices in my head.
When happened?
Trying to tell me what to do.
How long ago?
It's been a little over 3 years.
Okay.
Just about 3 years.
So, and it's kind of recently, let's put it in this way. Some people have been going through this, and I always want to play devil's advocate. I believe in these programs because it's about belief. This is not a religion. This is science. Okay. So I believe. Now, the same story I can say also. There are also cases out there that could be also, I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I don't want to start to give it false diagnosis, but people sometimes have visions. People sometimes they hear strange stuff. People sometimes they are stressed. People sometimes they have, whatever. It can be many things. What do you think that you really have the certainty that this voices that you're hearing, they are part of this government, or at least this, I don't even call government, because for me this is beyond government, okay? This is not the official government. But anyway, these programs of mind control, or maybe it could be just maybe you having some sort of, I don't know, maybe a tough time, as you said, somebody maybe a tragic event or something like that. Anything, could be wine, could be some drugs. Tell me.
Well, I'll say the difference between someone who has natural schizophrenia and the difference between someone who is being controlled or being harassed by psychotronic weaponry. Someone who has natural schizophrenia has sounds and random voices, things that really can't be interpreted. Things can't, really make any sort of sense. And a person with a mind control technology, V2K, voices being put into their head, there's an agenda. For example, we want you to get a job. We want you to get a job. We want you to get a job. Or, and it'll repeat. We want you to kill this person. We want you to kill this person. We want you to kill this person. And there is constant agendas. And when you do not comply, it goes straight to profanity, insults, name calling, streams of it. This is why people go berserk. This is why, you had the Batman Theater shootings. This is why you had the Fort Hood killer. This is why you had the Virginia Tech shooting. I believe the Virginia Tech shooter made some YouTube videos, and you can see the pain and the torment of this individual, his mind. He's harassed. You can tell the way he spoke. He was very cognitive. He was very there, and he had an enemy in which he spoke of. Schizophrenics are confused. Schizophrenics can actually put off or ignore a lot of things because there's no sense to it. There's no agenda.
So there's like a logic in all this. Let's put it this way, from your experience.
It's very logical. It's a pattern, neuro-linguistic patterning.
Okay.
There are techniques that are done to either make you or break you. Now, much like being in the military.
Now, what I was saying, when I was talking last time with former NSA whistleblower, Karen Stewart, I would say it would be nice, and probably they're already out there, that everyone who believes that, who has evidence that is part of this program, maybe creates a message board, because other people that they may have the same problems, or maybe they don't have that problem, they think they have that situation, they can at least find some sort of, let's say, help, or just even talking to each other. Maybe somebody with experience can say, first of all, you're not alone. Second of all, maybe you are not crazy, or maybe you are a little having some problem. But at least you don't feel left out, and you can start to have a community where you can talk to each other. And when you realize that you're really part of the program, you don't feel like you're a freak. I mean, that's, I think, would be a good thing, like a message board. Do you have a message board on your site? I still a little bit under construction. You have it here.
Well, actually, there are many resources and places for people to talk to this, talk about this.
Okay.
For example, the awareness of this is exploding. There are tons of targeted individual Facebook group pages anyone can visit and join, and you can hear thousands upon thousands of targeted individuals talk about what they're going through.
Yeah.
There are organizations like Freedom from Harassment and Surveillance.
Okay.
For example.
So there is like a message
Marvin
board.
May was a member of this group.
So you can interact. I mean, I don't want just people. I mean, people can read. That's great. But even people sometimes, I had, for example, last Sunday, this lady from Hawaii, Olga, was claiming that she's part of the plan, or at least she's a targeted individual, and she wanted to meet other people with the same situation, at least even people that will understand her, and they can at least communicate and maybe not feel alone. So I was thinking maybe a message board just with this type of, let's say, category of people would be something interesting. Meanwhile, I want to remind everybody, of course, the website I'm going to give you, it is not for targeted individuals. It is for everybody, okay? But it's open to everybody. It's 100% free. It's called Italian, what am I talking about? freedomlovers.us. I was thinking about coffee right now, I'm sorry. freedomlovers.us, www.freedomlovers.us. And I say everybody who has a message of freedom, or maybe even problems or situations like this that normally you don't find a place that you can communicate, you can create an account. It's 100% free. And you can also create message boards. So there is a message board. You can post videos and photos, whatever you want, free. Not even the credit card we ask you. It's really paid by my love, okay, and by my music. So go to freedomlovers.us, and it's not just for dating, but also to find like-minded people or people who have maybe some sort of situations like the target individuals. So I appreciate you go there and at least, like people like Olga said, go there and try to find somebody at least you can relate to. V, I want to give you the last 2 minutes. We're getting to a point. Anything you want to give us more information to wake up the rest of humanity about this tragedy, this crime? It's not a tragedy. This is a crime.
Well, I'm a little caught off guard here. How much more time do you have for the show?
Well, we have, I have another guest, so I'm going to have probably about 5 more minutes. I want to give you the floor. I promise I'll shut up more, but whatever you want to, and then I'm going to have you again in the future. I mean, this is not a topic that is going to be gone, okay? I'm just trying slowly, to try to share this information to bring awareness. Okay. And so we're going to be back. This is just an introduction, at least. We already talked in the past, but I like to have different people, different experiences. So this is now your turn. So come on, you got 4 more minutes. Go ahead.
Well, I most definitely have studied the covert technology, and I actually know how all of it works. I've actually created anti-psychotronic, well, I can't say created, I've actually designed some anti-psychotronic technology. I am looking to get investors and engineers to help me build the prototypes for them.
Okay.
But all this stuff stems from your secret society groups. For example, the Aquarius group. You have your political leaders such as governors, and you have military officials, and more importantly, the intelligence agencies who form these secret societies like the Aquarius group. The NSA has the Kennycomb group. These are the people who sit underneath the NSA headquarters in a nuclear bunker running the mind control programs, which is all done through chemtrails, satellites, Gwen towers, all the way down to your cell phones. We live in a frequency psychotronic grid.
Well, yeah.
And so,
for sure, we have a lot of technology that we barely don't understand. I mean, we can understand if we want to, and is disguised under different things. But yes, this is happening.
The last time I made a video a year ago, I recommended the book by,
oh my gosh. 1 second.
Thomas E.
That was too funny. I didn't do anything. This is creepy. Are you there? Oh my
They're
God!
taking over your computers now.
No, but listen, we're here. I'm listening. I'm recording your show, and out of the blue, there was the mouse move around, and he clicked on a freaking video of one of my Facebook friends. I'm not drinking, I promise, and this is way weird. I don't know what to tell you.
Yes. One thing that targeted
gosh.
individuals go through is lots and lots of computer hacking.
Oh gosh. Am I targeted too, V? What do you think? I think I'm being targeted right now. Seriously, I've been talking about this a few times. Every time I talk about this, I'm going to start to hear strange voices. Oh my gosh. You know what is
Well, let's hope not. It would just give too much validation to what's going on if they did target you.
Yeah.
I think you're safe.
Listen, I always say at the end of everything, there is evil out there. In this dimension, it may manifest itself through an evil guy with a weapon, try to kill you, or maybe an evil technology. The technology technically is no evil. It's the person behind that can make it evil or good. Like the gun. The gun is not bad. The gun can be used for defending somebody, to save a life, or to destroy a life. Same story with this stuff.
Absolutely.
Honestly, I don't think any way somebody tried to have the technology to control somebody else's mind. That's not good, okay? But still, let's say it's technology. Then the point is, at the end of the day, there is a weapon. I try to always find the antidote, the antivirus of evil. And it's love. Love means it's a big word, as I said. Even when they target your brain, when they target your belief, at the end of the day, you need to bring out the best of you. We have, of course, a dark side and a good side. And it's always a struggle between good and evil. And it's called also freedom. Because after all, we've been given freedom to choose. So I tell you, whatever you believe, at the end of the day, everybody got their belief. But the most important belief that you must believe in good. And then, of course, if you want to believe in religion, that's great. If you believe in Christ or whatever other God you believe, it's your choice. But at the end of the day, it's a battle between good and evil. And when these bastards, they try to, nag you and trying to tell you bad things, you got to really go back to the roots of good. And love, I think, is the most important weapon. And love means also other people try to be close to you and try to help you out. Don't leave you alone. That, I think, is very important. When you are alone, for what I understand in my little experience, what I'm learning here, most of the targeted individuals are people who are pretty much isolated and they have a good, let's say, social, I don't even want to call it life. I'm talking about friends, family. Normally people, they may be probably living in foster homes or people had been left behind. I see that. They prey on that type of people because they think they are the most vulnerable. And they can go there.
Absolutely.
If something happens to you, if you have nobody, no family, who's going to know what happens to you? Nobody cares. That's the reality of, unfortunately. So that's why we got to find, regardless the blood relations, if you have a friend, that's a good start. It's a good antidote. And believe in good. And when this crazy voice try to tell you something, but it's not crazy, it's the freaking voice to skull, as you call it, technology, guess what? Give them the middle finger, say, you know what? I don't believe in evil. I'm a decent person. I will never do evil things just because you tell me so. Okay, that's my attitude with them.
Absolutely.
So anyway, I appreciate you reach me out. I'm just a humble little local show, but I'm trying to spread the message out through the internet. And I believe that no matter how small or big, we all got to do our part. And I hope in the future, whenever you got updates or anything regarding this topic, I appreciate your input. And we try to bring out the message. That's the bottom line, okay? Give one more time your website, how people can reach you out and listen to your show.
Well, if people want to actually reach me, they can get to Anthony Thomas on Facebook or my email, which is thetruthpharmacy@gmail.com. And also my website is www.theredpillhardcore.com.
Very good. All right, listen, I got to go. I have another guest coming. Meanwhile, I want to remind everybody, listen, guys, normally you don't listen to this type of topics on the air. First of all, I want to say KTOX is one of the few stations that I know that is, I don't want to call allowing it, but yes, because after all, the ownership of the station can tell you whatever. I have freedom of speech like I could never believe on this station. Of course, I can always do my version on the internet, but the point is support the station. Because what we're talking here, not many other commercial stations let you talk about it. That's a fact. Second thing, if you want to support my show, I'm an independent show, there are many ways. One of the easiest way, go to zanna.us, www.zanna, like my last name, .us. For just 99 cents, not even the price of a cheap coffee, you can download any of my songs, and that way we can keep the show free, we have freedom of speech, and we can talk about everything we want without begging for sponsors. Okay, V, thank you very much, my friend, and ready for the second final part with an interesting guest, something that I need to tell you as a surprise. Just be ready. Hey, you. Yes, I'm talking to you. You deserve a break. Enjoy a moment of indulgence. It's time for Zanna Coffee. Guilt-free pleasure. Zanna Coffee is the organic coffee to amplify your senses and enhance love for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Only the best organic and GMO-free coffee beans from around the world that I selected. Zanna Coffee brings you happiness in every cup. Fair trade certified, sustainable organic coffee. That means we do not use slaves. Free Zanna songs with every coffee bag. Find Zanna Coffee at www.zannacoffee.com. www.zannacoffee.com. Get your coffee bag now. Don't be cheap. Life is too short, and you deserve the best. Zanna Coffee. Here we go, guys. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna on KTOX 1340 AM. Final hour about love. Last Sunday, I started this new concept to share the opportunity to broadcast on the air with anybody of you who would like to try the experience. And as I said, why I'm doing this? Because first of all, I never wanted to be really here on the air to be the guy, the radio guy. I'm not a radio guy. I'm just a regular guy. And my point is, if a regular guy like me, maybe even less than regular, listen to my accent, listen to my grammar, I can't believe it, I'm still on the air. But my point is, if I'm here, try to do my little part, try to share information, try to wake up our fellow Americans, sometimes even to engage in things we don't agree, that's fine. But the idea is that we want to bring liberty, we want to keep the freedom of speech, we want to defend our republic. If you believe in those basic things, in our Bill of Rights, and in the Declaration of Independence, and we speak somehow the same language, even with different accents, I consider you my brother or my sister in freedom. Simple as that. Regardless your political party, I don't care. So the idea was that I really pray that more people out there, rather than being listeners, they become broadcasters. I don't care if you are broadcasting from a website, podcasting, or a little micro radio from around your neighborhood block, whatever. Or maybe you got lucky, you got a station that can help you out. All idea is that maybe you can become another beacon of spreading the message that we try to talk here. That's it. So I wanted to give a little bit of input, a little bit of fun, and even a little bit of just experience to say I've been on this station, an AM station. This way I also want to thank KTOX 1340 AM that allowed me to do pretty much everything I want here, since, of course, I do not work for KTOX, but I have my syndicate show, and they rebroadcast my show, so I appreciate that. Anyway, today I have an incredible lady, very smart. By the way, she's a young lady. They call themselves, they don't call themselves. They're called the Millennium Generation. And sometimes I lose hope a little bit, but I have a lot of hope when I find people like her. She's very smart. She's politically involved. And she's also, I tell you, doesn't make any difference, but why not? She's also very attractive. She's a great package, great brain, and great face, and all the rest. Anyway, let me bring her on before I talk too much. Nichole, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, hopefully I didn't completely destroy you in the introduction about you, but I wanted to be very honest. I think you're a very smart young lady, and I want to thank you to be on the show here with me today. What is your real, or at least what is your art name that we're using today?
Nichole Price.
Nichole Price, perfect. And where are you from? Where are you calling from?
Dallas, Texas.
Dallas, Texas. Okay, listen, I want to give you the floor. As I said, this is going to be your segment. I'm going to be here maybe asking some questions, but you're going to be the host of the show. So here we go. Nichole Price from Dallas, Texas on Love, Guns, and Freedom. You got the floor.
Hi, this is Nichole Price, and you're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom on KTOX 1340 AM. And today I wanted to discuss with you feminism and how it's destroying this country. So, Gianluca, whenever you think of feminism, what are some of the things that you think of?
Okay, feminism, I remember when I was a kid in Italy, was a way almost to destroy the family, honestly, because the women, they got stuck with double task of jobs. They had to go to work for living, of course. At the same time, they still had to take care of the family. So I don't know. I think it was a kind of a fraud to destroy the family. What is your opinion about feminism?
Right. Well, the way I see it is, it's exactly what you said. But when your average person thinks of it, they think of it's a good, feel-good experience. It's something that's going to bring equality to everyone and make women have a standing in society. When in reality, women already have that. We're already all equal. That's the beauty of the Constitution. That's the beauty of being, that's just the beauty of America, essentially. And what bothers me, though, is that, like, what it's actually doing, aside from the political ramifications of it, is it's castrating men. It's basically, it's taking women and convincing them that they can do anything that a man can do, when in reality our brains and our bodies are just not capable of doing the same things, and that's okay. Yeah. That's the problem, is that that's the way it's supposed to be, and that's okay. We all have a role to fill in society, and whenever we all are like thrown into this category of one big unit that anyone can do anything, it doesn't work. That's not the way it works, And so it's a kind of the way I see it, though, is it all stems from basically of the UN. Like there's a UN treaty called CEDAW. That it's the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, and its goal ultimately is to control the domestic policy of America. The goal is to take and, like you were saying, pretty much destroy the family unit, so that they can control Americans by taxing and by basically throwing us all into this like turmoil of a woman can't bring in as much money as a man on average, and that's okay. But whenever you have a woman, though, that takes this, basically when they switch to the traditional gender roles, and they have women coming in thinking they can, be the breadwinner in the family, and the husband stays at home with the kid, that family's not going to be as successful as if a man were doing being the breadwinner, and if the man were going working and bringing home the bacon, so to speak. And so it's kind of like for example, in the preamble to this UN treaty, which is, the goal is to control the domestic policy. It says that they're basically wanting to change the traditional gender roles of men and women in society and family, and that is needed to achieve full equality between men and women.
Can I say, let me stop you 1 second. Let me stop you 1 second. First of all, it's very sad when I see a foreign government, or at least let's say whatever they call themselves, they consider it's technically is a government entity, foreign government, a foreign agent in this case, try to dictate what we're supposed to do here in our country. Right there, it really is sad. Even the fact that we're entertaining this situation, unfortunately we are, because we are part of the United Nations. We've been sold out a long time ago, and now we're trying to, our politicians, they try to bring us more and more into this. But something is very important. You're right. The plan is the destruction of the family. Honestly, sometimes may happen, maybe it is not a natural way that used to be. But let's say maybe the mother has more education, maybe she has a better degrees or whatever. It could be the person that maybe she may go sometimes to keep the family intact. Because I tell you, if I to think that both parents are working, because that's it didn't happen in the past. You know very well, maybe better than me, 50 years ago, the middle class was dad going to work. Even a blue-collar job was enough to bring enough money to take care of mom, buy the house and a little car, and be happy. Now it's changed because the economy is being destroyed. So now they need to have both parents working, and you still make half of the money. But regardless, if the point is at least somebody's at home and take care of the family and the kids, rather than sending them to this sort of a public education camps called school system, that would be not bad after all. But they said this rather than just being natural, sometimes it's the way it is. Let's say me and you, we get together, okay? And you have a master's degree in some great education, and you're making incredible whatever career. And let's say I am, in my life, I don't have that type of opportunity. But at the same time, as a family, we decide what is best for our family as a unit. And at that point, we can make a choice, And I don't think it's even bad, the fact that the father stay home with the kids, if they want that as a decision between the mother and the father together, according to a logic. I'd rather that than have the father working, the mother working, and the kids at some, as I said, 12 hours a day in a school, okay? But anyway, so tell me something. When you think of this in your life, around your area, you live in a big city, I guess. You live in Dallas or outside Dallas?
I live in downtown Dallas.
Okay, so it's a big town. I've never been there. Your generation, okay? Because sometimes I forget, but I'm getting kind of old. I'm 48, so and I realize that there is a new generation out there. Your generation, how the young women, American women, look at this idea of feminism. They buy that propaganda, or they think like you?
Oh, they buy it.
So
they buy right into it.
So they think it's good to have somehow this sort of a competition, even no matter what, just because with the male, and sometimes even to little bit psychologically castrate him. You know, that's sad, that part. You know, but don't you notice also another side? There is a big push to push the women in that direction, but also there is a big push socially and also in general as a society, and also I say chemically too, because when you start to realize what really now we are eating as food, you realize that it's not a coincidence that the average male, his testosterone level is going way down because estrogens, they are going way up in whatever we eat. Are you familiar, for example, in estrogen in meat, and also what can do plastic like BPA in these containers, altering your endocrine system and also completely
sterilizing.
Yes, sterilizing you, or at least make you more estrogen than you're supposed to have. You know that?
Correct.
So that's my concern. I think it's not just the aspect from attacking the women or try to push them in that direction, but also now you see, become a transsexual, it's like almost something that we need to talk about it, because, we need to teach him in school, and becomes almost like a normal thing. So little kids say, why not? I'm becoming a transsexual. And at that point, maybe he has already so much, eats hamburgers with estrogen 3 times a day, and you will check your blood level, you will see estrogen going through the roof, and you're going to start to act like a woman. Am I too crazy about this, or you think there is maybe a hidden plan about that?
I think whether it's a plan or not, it's probably happening. But at the same time, whenever you're born with either male genitalia or female genitalia. And the way I see it is, I think it's on the parents to say, well, okay, if your kid comes home one day and says he wants to be a girl all of a sudden, he's not a girl. It doesn't matter what he feels like. In my opinion, and this is probably controversial, but I don't really care. Mm-hmm. But it's like, whenever it comes down to it, if your kid comes home one day and says, hey, Mom, I want to be a surgeon, would you let him operate on your arm? No, you tell them, no, you're not a surgeon, you know what I'm saying? It's like, because he's not. It's like, they can feel and imagine and play and be whatever they want to be, but when it comes down to it, to actually allow them to take a situation that actually, if it's really, truly a situation, is considered, as of right now, a mental illness, to nurture the mental illness rather than to nurture what, reality, I think it's child abuse. It's not right. And our society has just taken something it's like they've taken mental disorders and mental problems and they're glorifying it and saying, we need to accept this and accept them as they are. It's like, no, what we need to do is help them understand that that's not what the reality of it is. And if you have a child that's like, say, a little boy, why would you give him like estrogen to push him to be more the opposite direction of where he's supposed to be? Why wouldn't you try and nurture him and do things to get him to produce testosterone naturally, his own, to be what he is?
Yeah.
It's like I don't understand why you would want to push them in the direction of the psychological disorder rather than trying to rein it in as best you can. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I think? Unfortunately, it's all connected because, as I said many times, one of the most important figures we have in our society when it comes to everything, from gun culture to education, is the mother. Because after all, mothers, they are the first level of teaching and teaching the knowledge, teaching the culture, teaching everything of our next generation. Okay? If we have, unfortunately, mothers that have been through the process of now this public school system, that is nothing about educating, it's about re-educating, it's about completely molding, shaping the minds in their agenda, okay? So the point is, right now we have already a couple generations down that the concept of feminism, especially in the aspect of the idea that the man is useless, or at least, not even useless, almost there is a hate. That's the sad thing. I have no problems with an independent woman. Say, hey, I want to work, or I want to do my things, I want to be independent. That's fine, that's great. At the same time, you still say, why should I hate a man? Why can we not have at least that type of relationship Of course, sometimes you have stronger women, sometimes you have stronger men. Normally the man's supposed to be a little stronger, but sometimes doesn't happen. But regardless, it shouldn't be hate, shouldn't be the sort of vilification. Now there are many feminists, for example, they want to have a child. They don't even want a man anymore. They just go straight to the vitro, sperm donation. Are you aware of that? I mean,
yes, I am. That's disturbing to me.
That's sad. I feel sorry for the kids too, honestly, because, they're already going to grow up in that type of environment, and they say, okay, that's normal for them at that point. Now, women in the military, what do you think about the idea now that our politicians, for their agenda, they are pretty much lowering the level of our military forces for the parameters. You have to set parameters, standards. And the standards should never be able to modify according to the students, but the students or the potential soldiers, they must adapt or try to reach the standards. Simple as that. Now, because they want to have women in combat units, and they cannot make it, they're lowering the standards. Don't you think could be some sort of a pretty dangerous situation, not just for the lowering of the standards, but also to have, if let's say we are in a unit, okay, military unit, whatever unit you want to talk, and now out of the blue we have a bunch of guys and there are a couple ladies there. It starts to create a very strange situation of jealousy, or maybe things that we shouldn't think when we are in that type of environment. We should just focus on doing our job, or at least try to be alive, let's put it this way. Don't you think it could be dangerous?
I totally think it would be dangerous, because if you think about it, a man's natural instinct is to protect a woman. So if he's there if they're doing a mission, and they all have a job to do, and if for whatever reason natural instinct kicks in and the woman's in danger, the men are going to try and protect the woman versus doing their job that they're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? And that creates a whole, that puts everyone in danger at that point. Not to mention, if a man gets injured and a woman is the only option to carry him to safety, if I were a man, I wouldn't want to have to rely on a woman to carry me somewhere to safety or drag me to safety. You know what I'm saying? And also, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that they've done studies that shown that basically the all male troops, or like whenever they're doing their missions and stuff, or whenever they're doing their training, the all male groups perform better. The male-female groups perform as well as the bottom of the all-male groups as far as the percentages go, as far as their overall performance. So the troops that have females in them, their overall skill level drops to the lowest bracket of what the all-male. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't balance out at all. It makes it to where, like, women just, because they're having to lower the standards, and because they all have to, you're supposed to be operating at on an equal playing field, it doesn't work. It does not work. Women are not capable of doing some of the things that men do, and that's not bad. That's the biggest issue that I have with it all, is that there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with a woman being weaker than a man. That's completely natural and normal. There are some exceptions to that rule, obviously, but overall, your average woman can't just go in and do a job that's strenuous on you physically, and that just that's totally fine. But at the end of the day, whenever people try to force it, and they force their will on everyone, and they force their ideals on everyone, it's like, this isn't a pretty perfect little world that, everyone can just get to do whatever they want to do. And when your parents tell you when you're a kid, you can go up and be whatever you want to be, I think some people take that seriously. And it's like, no, you can't just be whatever you want to be. You have to be whatever you're capable of being. Well,
at least, as I said, you can push always your limits. You can try your best. I think, though, unless you are, there we are two different type of body type, two different type of hormones. Two different type of configurations. Normally a man is more for some roles. But I tell you also, I want to try to play a little bit of devil's advocate. I know some guys that if I had to go in a fist fight, I like to bring some girls that I know. Don't get me wrong. No, seriously, I know some ladies out there that I tell you, if I had to go in some situation that I might fear for my life, I'd rather to have them on my back than some of the guys that I know. And I'm not trying to put guys down, because I said the average guy out there normally is a man. But unfortunately, as we were talking right now, this is a new generation, especially young people I'm talking about, okay? I'm not talking about the old generation. The youngest generation, it freaks the hell out of me. I got some guys in their 20s, and I could be their dad, almost grandfather, I guess. I'm 48. If you start really early. My point is, I look at them, guys. You are half of my age. You cannot even keep up with me in jogging around the block. Seriously. That's pathetic, okay?
Right.
And I'm not trying to, I'm a regular guy. I'm not doing anything. But the point is now the new level of, look at the Obamacare advertisement. how they're trying to also stereotype the new American male. Did you see the little guy, the young man sipping chocolate at home? I mean, that's the new male that represents now in the media through the government propaganda the American man, and that's so sad. I mean, we would never won World War II. We were still now probably beyond the Japanese occupation if we had those guys going to war. Seriously, the hot chocolate guy of the Obamacare advertisement, it freaks the hell out of me. I mean, that's the best we can find out. I mean, did you see that? You remember that? Yeah, I mean, that's my point. You know, some women, I think they got much more balls of some guys that I know. That's a fact.
Well, and that's the problem, is that the women have actually, the feminist movement, in my opinion, has taken men and they've reduced them to that. And the problem is that a lot of women, they're pawns. Like, they think that it's supposed to be about women's equality, and in reality, it's about controlling domestic policy and controlling people. You know what I'm saying? And they're playing right into it. Feminists play right into it, and the men are suffering from it because they've been castrated and they can't even fight back anymore because for fear of, you know, having some sort of lawsuit filed against them for discrimination. And so it's like, when the law is on the side of the feminist, it pretty much, I mean, there's not a whole lot you can do. And that's sad. To me, I feel terrible for men nowadays, especially the men who actually still have balls. You know, in my opinion, I think that the skinny jeans didn't help the ball situation. You know, it was like, but I think that when it comes down to it, though, it's like men need to keep their women in check, and I think that women need to keep their men in check. And whenever we check each other, ultimately, we're all better for it. And unfortunately, women have got the law on their side right now, and it's ruining everything. It's ruining the fabric of America.
Yes.
You know?
I have a question, a little bit different topic, you know. You sound like a very different from the average young woman I know out there. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure other great young ladies out there that try to inform. But let's say you're not the average person normally I may meet at the grocery store when I go shopping. If you talk about these topics or other topics that normally I know you talk on the Facebook, I mean, you're kind of unique. How is it difficult to find, let's say, your like-minded person, special person, that at least you can have a conversation about things like this, and at the same time you can have a relationship?
Well, you're saying how am I not of the feminist mentality?
No, beside the feminist, you know, you talk about many other things, kind of different from the average lady out there that normally may talk about the Kardashian or other stuff, okay? At least what I follow you on Facebook, you're kind of an active lady, very concerned about the future of this republic, and, you know, you're vocal, and you try to learn a lot of stuff. You don't do exactly the same typical pattern of a woman watching Mexican soap operas all day and going to the nail salon, okay? So that's my point. How is it difficult for a type like yourself or at least to communicate or to find like-minded males that maybe you can also have a love story or, let's say, a romance? Are you having any problem, or maybe in Dallas you got lucky, you got at least a selection of like-minded people that you can have some social life or love life?
Well, I found actually that it's better for me to be as single as I can because of the way that I communicate with people and just my overall. I'm fairly flirtatious in a sense, so it's kind of more of a situation where I stay single, kind of just because I don't think it's fair to put a man through the kind of, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of, remember, if I'm flirtatious, and most people that I talk to are men. Most people that I talk to about politics are men. And I find that it's actually better in the long run for me right now to stay as single as I can, just because I'm not really in a hurry to start raising a family, especially in the world that we're living in right now. And for me, it's easier, so I don't have to worry about putting someone else in a position where they feel jealousy or, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I date and things like that, but it's not, for me, I think it's not fair for where I'm going in life right now to put someone else through that. So I kind of try to...
Okay. You start to sound like a feminist now, okay? Don't go there, okay? I mean, give him a chance once in a while, but I think you're right.
No, I do. But that being said, though, most men that I would say talk to, it's not really something that I'm looking for, simply because of the fact that I don't think it's fair to put someone else through that. It's not right for me on a human level.
Listen, I want to say time went so fast, but we're going to do it again, and I'd like to have your input, the topics you want to bring on the show. I appreciate it. All I want to say, thank you for being today. And everybody, thank you for listening. God's willing, I will talk to you next Sunday. You'll be listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna. Go to www.lovegunsfreedom.com and you can listen to the show today as a replay. Bye-bye.